And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 20 QAFL action here from Graham Road in Aspley. We've got an absolutely juicy contest rearing to go this afternoon. You got the Aspley Hornets placed top of the ladder, lost 2 games for the year. And we've got the Redland-Victoria Point Sharks, ranked number 2 at the moment and only lost 3 games of the year. 2 rounds to go pre-finals. My name's Kane Browning. I'm joined by Daniel Viles in the commentary box this afternoon. Welcome, Daniel.
Good afternoon, Kane.
Geez, great weather today for footy. You couldn't ask for much of a better day. This game is so... You can almost taste the atmosphere, can't you, Daniel?
There's a bit of I hope the crowd... There's plenty of people here, but I want them to be invested in the game. I want them to actually be reacting to what's happening on the field rather than what's happening on the TV screens in the clubhouse. So we'll see how it goes. But you're right about the conditions. I think they're expecting a top of 25 today, which will be about what it is now. The breeze is gentle, but what there is will be coming from the left halfback at the left-hand side of your screen. So slightly favouring the side running towards the right and slightly coming back towards the camera, but nothing that you would think would be a major factor in this contest.
Well, I'm just going to go through the umpires. Big responsibility for them this afternoon. Field umpires Jake, Edgar, Frank Rayson and Rowan Smith. Boundary umpires Nicholas Mabb and Jeremy Aked. Hopefully I got the pronunciation right. And goal umpires Caleb Fidge and Lachlan Berthwick. So good luck to those gentlemen this afternoon as we're just watching Redland come out on the ground now. Couple of interesting changes to their lineup by the looks of it. The main one I see is no Matt Hamilton up forward.
Which is pretty much half the ticket price if there was one here. It does up Aspley Oval today. So, and of course, Caleb Frank's still out for the Sharks as well. So if this game were decided by reputation, Aspley would be winning this one in straight sets. But of course, we know the QAFL doesn't work like that. And if anything, even though Redlands have got a Redland-Victoria Point, sorry, got to acknowledge both clubs,
yes,
have had got a couple of their subs with only one senior game in them. Overall, it appears to be a more settled side, and I'm interested to see how their combinations work today. And of course, you and I have seen enough sport to know that sometimes when you take the obvious star out, everyone else increases an amount combined, which more than makes up for the loss of the star.
No, you're definitely right. You'd like to think that sort of next tier group of players, those B tier group of players, can step up to the mark. And again, you got 1 and 2 playing off against each other. They want to secure that top spot pre-finals. Another one I was looking at as far as Aspley's concerned as well, Liam Dawson back in the side. He was off for quite a while. I believe it was a fractured arm that he received the week before the state game that played down in Tassie. So he's been out for a little while, coming back in the side this afternoon. The intercept master, I'd like to call him in QAFL footy. He's been a towering staple down back for Aspley this year, and he's a major in.
And this is the kind of game he wants to come back to. There's no point playing a bottom of the table side and you don't get to intercept mark because your midfielders are just sending everything back inside 50. Someone of his pedigree will want a decent hit out pre-final series. So whereas, you know, the instinct might be, oh, hang on, coming back in a top of the table clash, Dawson will be fine. In fact, I think it's the kind of game he'll relish.
Well, you think Liam Dawson down one end, and you look down the other end, number 41, Adrian Williams, who's basically a mirror image of... they're a mirror image of each other. They don't generally like to play one-on-one. They just drift off, intercept it well, and then set up play from half back. So who's going to take the most intercept marks this afternoon? That's a major question. So
you're predicting a 0-0 draw this afternoon, basically. That's you've gone complete World Cup on us. You've been watching too much women's soccer, women's football, and you've decided, nope, 0-0's the future of the game.
No, not at all. But I definitely think those two particular players really set up play from half back. And if all of a sudden one of them gets off the leash, either end of the ground, that can go a long way towards whether Redland win this afternoon, or is it going to be the Aspley Hornets? As players going to position right now. Just waiting a few moments. Another interesting stat I was talking to you about earlier, Daniel. This is great. It took me 2 days to work this out, so I hope I got it right. But Aspley, even though they've only lost 2 games, they've lost 2 of the last 3 against Labrador last week and also Broadbeach a couple of weeks before that. When they've lost Aspley, their defence is actually allowing 7.5 goals more. And their forward line is about 5.5 goals less.
Yeah.
So it's a massive drop-off.
12 goal turnaround.
When they've been behind, when they've lost games, when just from scoring, they've lost majorly. But you look at the other end of the tape with the Sharks, their opposition, their backline's only allowing sort of 3 goals extra.
Yeah.
So their backmen aren't dropping off, but their ability to score has dropped off pretty much the same as the Aspley Hornets. So who's going to get on top this afternoon? That's the major question. Umpire's just about ready to go in the middle of the ground. Wolber's in there for the Aspley Hornets. There's the bounce. Redland win it on that occasion. Oh, great defensive pressure there. First contest of the game. Ball gets locked up. Bit of push and shove. Look at these players in the middle of the ground. No one's going to take the backward step this afternoon. It looks like Harker is going to be the major matchup for Brock Aston in the middle of the ground. That's a really juicy matchup. Toy gets caught without the footy. Umpire saw it as well. There's the first free kick going to Toy. Just in front of half back for Aspley.
Dodge at centre half forward. Miller's tracking him.
Good to know. Here they go now, the Hornets, kicking towards half forward, but wayward kick, that's out on the full.
Crawley knew as soon as that left the leather of the boot that he was going to be backing up in a moment.
Now, let's see how Redland-Victoria Point go here. They like to move the ball fairly quickly through the corridor. That's a dangerous kick, though. Clears everyone. Here's a chance for the Sharks. Oh, look at the pick-up and handball. Look at the snap. Saw the spare man out of the corner of his eye. Cross half forward. Kicks deep inside, but too little too late. Forward position gets intercepted by the Hornets, and they're coming out of defence once more.
Williams a little bit slow to move, and there were really only 2 players on that far side for RVP to kick to, so they didn't really make it easy for themselves.
That's not the best of kicks either. Ends up in the hands of the Sharks. Kick towards goal. That's the first one.
Tommy Matthews.
Geez, just a little bit of a lackluster kick, that 45 kick, trying to hit up a target. Cleared everyone. Ended up in the hands of Matthews. Great kick from probably 45 metres out, straight over the goal umpire's hat. That's a great start for the Sharks.
Wonderful club set up here at Aspley, but of course they don't have a second oval, and sometimes I wonder whether teams start here a little bit cold, and we've seen 2 kicks that had relatively serious consequences for the Hornets in the opening 2 minutes. One out in the full, just to the left of camera here, and then that one. So yeah, if they're going to take a little bit of time to warm up into the match, well, at least they've got a couple of hours to press on. Well,
the pressure's really good from the Sharks early on. First contest of the day, they had 2 or 3 blokes lay the tackle. Wolbers goes up once more, gets the tap out on that occasion. Just roaming off the back here, the big fella. He's probably going to end up with a footy now. No, decides to stay off. That's a little bit dangerous from the Sharks. I don't think it was Brock Aston. I think it was the second man in. Just clipped him a little bit high. As Aspley come out of defence across half-back once more. Batchelor's here on the wing. They decide not to go to him. Batchelor comes off the ground now for a rest. Ends up in the hands of a Dwyer.
At the left-hand side of the ground, it's Justin Curry who's got the job on Stackelberg to begin with.
Well, that's an interesting contest as well. O'Dwyer up the wing. No one can take clean possession. Here come the Sharks now, though. Look at the numbers for the Hornets, though. Lane on the pressure. Ball bypasses everyone. Aston's chasing him down. Doesn't get there. Straight in the hands of Yagmore. Yagmore straight through the corridor. This is better ball movement from the Sharks. 2-on-1. Goes up. Should have taken the mark. No mark taken. A little bit of a lazy kick across half-back. Look at the pressure from the Sharks. Putting all the defensive pressure on. Trying to lock the ball in there. Hornets trying to get out of trouble. Cross half-back. That's got to be holding the ball. Yes, it is. Decides to play on. Kick inside. That's good footy. Great footy from the Sharks. Ends up in the hands of Packow.
And they had to be precise because they'd made the field very small while they were trying to get the turnover, and then it was a case of making sure there was enough space to get a pass to someone. Thankfully, the option by Packow was just front and centre, made it very easy to make sure the pass was effective.
We were talking about it pre-game as well. Packow's ability to start forward. He might pinch it in the ruck at times, but he's definitely got the best position there. Unfortunately, not the best of kicks. Fades to the right.
I'll get out of the way early.
1 point scored. We always put the moxie on guys kicking to the goal. I reckon I'm 0 for about 100 this season.
That's how you know you're a real commentator. if people start missing when you put the mockers on them, then you go up a grade.
Well, Aspley's got their hands on the footy now. Again, across that half-back line. They really haven't been able to progress the footy past our broadcast spot here on the wing.
Tiny field. There's only one Aspley player on the other side of the centre circle.
Williams is our position there. He's got to get back. Ball goes towards half forward. Stackelberg couldn't take the mark. Ball hits a deck. Free man across the ground. Centre half forward. Aston tried to get there. His Toy. Toy hits the target now. Stackelberg. How much ground does Stackelberg make up? He went up for the mark there. Ball hit the deck. He ran 40 metres across the ground to free up space. Take an easy chest mark. That's just work rate, isn't it?
And he accelerated. It started off, he thought, no, I've got to make sure that my defender comes with me. He did, and then, left him for dust, which is appropriate during Echo Week.
Yes. Stackelberg kicks for goal. That's been pushed to the left-hand side. Breeze is a bit flustery down that end of the ground by the feel of it.
It will definitely coming back towards us, so that would have travelled right to left. Stackelberg will adjust, but you're right, it did just pick up a knot or two, he says, without really knowing what he's talking about, just in the last 20 seconds.
Smile and nod and act like, that's the best way to go. Here come the Sharks now across half-back. Just playing it slow at the moment. Don't want to make a mistake in this part of the ground. Decide to switch. Here's Williams.
Aspley come across very quickly. They've got this covered.
Pardon me, ladies and gents.
You're right, RVP with the ball at half-back. Let me know when you're ready, Kane.
That's okay.
Coming in front of us, William won't get a hand to it. Comes inside and Kane's finished coughing.
Yeah. Coughing up a lung. No, that's okay. Again, it's always good mid-sentence when all of a sudden you've got to catch your breath. Both ruckmen up now. Walbers was okay on that occasion. Ball gets hacked forward. Aspley's there, and guess who it is? Liam Dawson. I think Williams has taken one. Dawson's taken one. It's 1-1. Dawson now. Cross half back. There's Williams in the contest. Gets pushed under the footy. Ball rolling around. Numbers are probably with Aspley, but again, the Sharks lay the pressure on for another stoppage.
Tom Matthews got the goal before, but of course the trenches is more or less where he lives, and today he's making sure he does all the hard work as well, even though he got some early glory.
Free kick to the Sharks. We've got the big fella in Huddy. Huddy's had a pretty good year in the ruck for the Sharks this season. Good kick. Probably 75 metres out. 1-on-1, he's going to take it. And unfortunately for the Sharks, Aspley come up with a footy.
He had to go to a contest there because all the loose players were way too far away. That would have needed a 70-metre kick into the wind. That's not going to happen.
When you think Ruben William has been pushed up forward as well, deep forward. So you got William, you've got Packow. So they've got some marking options up there. There's William there again, gets pushed off the footy. Hornets coming out of trouble once more, coming through that corridor. Here's Toy. Toy launches the ball towards centre half forward. That's better. Stackelberg ends up with it. Is that 50?
No. That was an Oscar.
Stackelberg kicks inside. No one at home, though, except Williams for the Sharks. Just watches it roll over the boundary line for a boundary throw-in.
He thought he saw a run into the forward pocket, but that ended up being the dummy run, and by the time the ball came off the foot, the lead was running the other way. So a little bit unfortunate, and the communication system needs a tune-up.
Geez, Williams has probably taken that many intercept marks. Some oppositions are almost going, oh, that's a team. Oh, wait, no, it's not. As the ball gets rolled around now, Sharks lock it in there. Walbers lays the tackle.
Very high defence from Aspley. There's no one in their own half.
Surprise, surprise. They generally like to play that way. Up in the ruck again. Shot on goal. That's a goal. That's the first one for the Hornets. Is that the captain?
That's Batchelor, yes.
I believe that's Batchelor. Well done, sir.
Check side kick, I mean, yes, it was straight in front, but the skill there wasn't so much the scoring of the goal, it was the reading off the tap in the first place. Just good communication in the contest, made sure he was Johnny on the spot, and son, you are a Batchelor boy.
And again, mind you, though, looking at Batchelor as well, he was the only person moving that front and centre position. As soon as the ball hit the hands, hit the deck, he was the only midfielder moving into position. And again, that check side kick on goal. Good finish.
And let's be honest, you shouldn't have only one inside mid moving in a contest at QAFL level, really.
No, you shouldn't. Everyone else is trying to block. That's the sort of team defence that seems to be played in season 2023. 1-1-7 apiece. We played just under 10 minutes in the first quarter.
It's like American football, more blocking than running.
Freeman's in the ruck now. Walber's having a rest. Aston with the clearance towards half forward. Aspley with the spoil. Ends up in the hands of a Sharks player, though. Huddy was there. Got pushed off the footy. Snap on goal. Pushing towards the boundary line. There's another boundary throw in.
Number 51 for RVP, Daniel Annable. I think he's only 16 or so, but a Lions Academy player. This is his second top grade game, I believe. Made his debut very recently. But they've clearly got big raps on him. And to throw him in for his second game against the ladder leaders with a lot of big names shows a lot of trust in him.
He doesn't look like he's not. He's got that right body shape though for senior footy for such a young man. He's not built like a matchstick, so I think he'll represent himself pretty well this afternoon. Huddy again, left foot snap on goal inside our top, but guess who's there on the last line? That's Dawson once more.
Bit of friendly fire between Benson and James Rayner there, which is a bit unfortunate for RVP.
Dawson to Batchelor across half back. Gets pushed into the middle of the ground in the hands of Templeton. Templeton, short kick. That's okay. It's the next option they're looking at now.
Lonergan's wide. They've also got another player in Joseph out wide, Aspley, so they can switch and they'll be ahead of the play.
Ends up in the hands of Dawson. Dawson over the top.
Here's Joseph now.
Joseph. Kicks down the line, 2-on-1 here. No one can take the mark. Could have been a free kick. No free kick paid. Look at that. Good handball. Kicks into the space. Look at that for the kick.
Sorry, Kane, you go.
No, what a kick going inside 50 from the young man, number 22, Lane Brown.
And set up for him by number 36, Will O'Dwyer. Beat attack, let the marking battle go. Chased it down the line. He was the one who got the kick to Brown. And here we are with the shot.
Watson's got the kick, and Watson's that sort of centre forward they like to use, Aspley. He's been a bit missing during the year. He hasn't played a lot. Watson now, right foot kick.
Fading.
Hits the post, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, took a bit of timber on the way down. So RVP, it's a 1-point ball game. Aspley just with the 1-point lead, but of course they have possession and territory at the moment as Yagmore will come to this western side of the ground, and in the end that was an uncontested mark for Dean Benson. So we're just praying for Kane at the moment. He's gone outside for the laying on of hands. As Dean Benson finds a short kick to Stephen. Stephen doesn't have a lot of options, very congested, and Aspley inside him. He looked to his left and saw about 7 Hornets all the way back through. Oh, that's a awful kick from the captain, Scott Miller. And this is a gimme for the Hornets.
Apologies, ladies and gents. I just had to step outside for a sec. Nothing worse than mid-sentence. About to sneeze.
Well, I've given you Connor Stackelberg with a set shot. It couldn't be easier.
No, Stackelberg comes in now. Right foot kick. Coming back, but holds its line. Just to the right.
He made the adjustment. He knew that the wind was going right to left, so he's got a bit of calibration now. He's had a couple of, well, one that faded a long way to the left, and that one which, well, he accounted for it, just over-accounted.
It's those ones where you're just about to drop the ball on boot and all of a sudden the wind dies off. And you've got no wind to speak of as you're kicking the footy. Goes out wide now. Here's a chance for the Sharks. Got a little bit of an overlap going. Got to be precise, but unfortunately isn't. Intercepted once more by the Hornets. Straight away going into that corridor situation. Can't move the ball quickly. Gets called to play on. Williams putting the pressure on. Kicks out wide to the outer side wing. And again, they're doing pretty well, the Sharks, at the moment. They're just holding them up enough. They're looking for the switch once more. Needs to take a bounce. Could be run down. Look at the tackle. Great tackle by the Sharks. Here's a chance. Kicking over the top. William running into open 50. Can he find him? Yes, he does, but unfortunately got us spoiled. That's okay. Ball hits the deck, still in the hands of the Sharks. Handballs to no one, though. Ends up in the hands of the Hornets, and they're coming out of trouble once more.
In a moment, I'll talk.
Oh, what a grab. Unfortunately, couldn't hold on to it. Here come the Hornets once more. Decides to handball back, going down the wing. 3 men could have snapped up that footy. No one was talking, unfortunately. Huddy gets a free kick.
Out of zone umpire spotted high contact. James Rayner before, the reason that Aspley lost the ball in midfield is because he cut off about 3 separate options with his off-ball positioning here on the near side. It was clever play. There's no stats in it, but coaches love it.
Here comes Toy now. Toy, deep inside 50. The numbers. William goes up, couldn't take the mark. Handball over the top to Stackelberg. It's a lot easier kicking them from there. They get the lead, 2-3-15 to 1-1-7. We've played just over 15 minutes in the first quarter.
Well, that's one way to take the wind out of the equation is get it straight in front. The marking contest from RVP was excellent centre-half back, but then he was the last person in defence. He nearly won a 1-on-3 contest, but once it was knocked out of his hands, there were only Hornets around. And it was maybe, I'm not sure who wasn't making the lung-busting run. I can see that there's a couple of changes as Yagmore and Lonergan come back onto the field now. But yeah, there simply weren't enough numbers in RVP's defence, and unfortunately I wasn't able to see who was out of position.
It's unfortunately, it's the Jamie Shanahan lesson down back. If you're going to hit the contest, if you can't mark it, you better punch that ball clear, because if you don't, you're always going to have that extra number with the Hornets, and that's exactly how it ended.
Daniel Merritt theory.
Daniel Merritt theory as well. I'm going a little bit further back with Jamie Shanahan.
You can do that.
Ex-St Kilda fullback, also a Hobart Tigers product.
Oh.
Back in the day for the TFL down there. So hello to Jamie if you are listening. You probably aren't, but just in case you are.
Oh, he is. He's all over this.
Here we go now. Here come the Sharks. Kick inside 50. Not the best of kicks. Ball hits the deck. Numbers are with the Sharks, though. Steps, weave, dodges. Handball towards William. Couldn't get there. Now with the Hornets once more coming across half-back. Out of trouble.
Apologies. Jasper Craven's got some fancy footwork, but he just kept running away from his support on that occasion. And maybe he needed a word from a teammate just to let him know where they were. But he didn't have a lot of options, and they kept getting worse the more he ran.
Well, it looks like Hunkin is matched up on Dodge. That's another juicy matchup between these two. Dodge, very quick when the ball hits the deck, but considering his size, he's actually a considerable mark of the footy as well, and he's a pretty accurate kick for goal. So, very dangerous player, as again, Harker laid the tackle out there. Bit of push and shove.
It's always good to have a tall, small in your side, if you get what I mean. Someone who's small but plays a lot taller.
He's probably one of the most versatile players in the competition, Harker. He can play back, he can play half forward, and he can also sort of tag in the midfield, which is what he's trying to do against Brock Aston this afternoon. Ball hits the deck, ends up in the hands of Dodge. Good tackle laid by the Sharks. Dodge bounces back, though. Could have been a dumping tackle. No, says the umpire.
Brave work from Hunkin, first of all, to make the tackle, and secondly, to take the tackle. So he was prepared to attack and defend within about 2 seconds.
And that's that second effort, isn't it? Yeah. Dodge got back on the contest, laid the tackle. Free kick, though, going to the Sharks for holding the man. Looks like it's going to go to Lamana Packout.
Yeah, Walbers thought it was against him, but it was actually a teammate who was holding off the ball. So he had his palms up going, what did I do? The answer's nothing. It's your wretched friends, mate. Find better friends.
You can't hide when you're the tallest bloke on the ground, can you?
Tell me about it.
You can't sort of dig a hole and disappear. The umpire's always going to spot you. Now, the Sharks cross half back, right on the boundary line. This is right in front of us, this contest. Huddy tried to mark it, couldn't. I think it might have just brushed a fingernail, so that's going to be a boundary throw-in. Right in front of us here on this broadcast side.
They're still kicking the contests, RVP, and maybe in the first quarter that's okay. Find out which matchups you're winning, do a bit of testing, and then move a bit wider later on. But so far, not a lot of width in their play. Now,
we've got Packout and Walbers in the ruck. Walbers gets front position, brings the ball to down. Packout ends up with a footy, though. Free kick, says the umpire. Now, that wasn't the officiating umpire. He was standing about 30 metres away. Packout
Other one,
to Yagmore. And Yagmore to William. Mark paid. Geez, between those three this afternoon, they need to play well if the Sharks are any chance this afternoon against this Aspley unit.
Well, the thing they did there was connect.
Exactly right. William now, really the first touch of the afternoon for him. Right foot kick, aiming towards goal. Look at that. That's a good kick. Goal number 2 to Redland. And again, 2-3-15 to 2-1-13, 2 points the margin. We're right on 20 minutes into the opening quarter.
Well, this is where I need to take my words and make a sandwich out of them, because that goal was created by width. Didn't need an awful lot, but William was the one who gave them something to kick to. And you called the passage of play beautifully. It was just 2 simple passes. And then Reuben William, I haven't seen him play for a little while, but I thought, 48 metres out, I don't think this is going to challenge him. It didn't.
No.
Even with a little breeze behind him.
And again, Pacquiao, that second effort from Pacquiao, ends up with a free kick, moves the ball quickly to Yagmore, and then Yagmore, that short kick inside 50 to William. Great stuff by the Sharks. They haven't had a lot of clearances from their midfield group at the moment. Aston's getting snuffed out. Speaking of which, he ends up with a footy. Gets the clearance towards William. Couldn't take the mark. Ball hits a deck. Toy was there. Could have been held without the footy. No free kick paid. Again, look at the pressure from the Sharks. Little nothing kick. Ends up in the hands of a teammate. Kick towards goal. There's another one.
Jack rolls.
Jack rolls. Hasn't had too much of the ball in his hands in that midfield battle. Geez, that was a 2-metre kick, really to no one.
Oh, that was David Boone at short leg. That was just taken. I still don't know how he caught it.
I couldn't be bothered handballing the ball, so I'm just going to kick it instead.
That was it.
That was pretty much it.
Oh, was it a short kick, or was it just a really, really fast handball? But definitely came off the boot. So the short leg catch was probably the highlight of that play. But to then recover, realise, oh, hang on, I've got this. He was off balance, regained his balance, and then got the shot straight. And again, the wind's blowing back towards him, which probably would have helped him. I mean, he could kick it a little bit left, and the wind would make sure that he got 6 points out of it.
You definitely want to be kicking the ball, coming down this broadcast side if you're kicking for goal down that right-hand side end. So you can aim it left, bring it back right. So, all of a sudden, they've got the lead, 3-1-19. The umpire's going to recall that bounce, though. Pacquiao was just about off and running. You got Freeman back in the ruck. Freeman probably got the tap out on that occasion. Free kicks going to Aspley, though.
Yeah, cries of took his head off, which...
I think that was Brock Aston. I don't think it was untoward. He just clipped him a little bit high. Yeah. Batchelor was a little bit slow to get up. Batchelor now. Right foot kick. Probably to 30 to 35 out. Again, the numbers are with the Sharks in the contest. Kick towards goal. Unfortunately, touched on the last line. That would have been magic if that had gone through. And again, both sides have had sort of equal opportunity in front of goal. Aspley's kicked 2 goals 4 from 6 scoring shots, so they've been a little bit off. Redland, a little bit better, 3-1-19.
We don't have inside 50 stats, but I'm prepared to give them to Aspley by a narrow margin, but a clear one.
Pacquiao was there, but guess who it is? Dawson's been moved up the ground a little bit. Very dangerous front of centre, Dawson. His ability to mark the footy, but his foot skills are elite. Speaking of elite kicking, look at that. Kick inside 50.
Pepin has the mark.
Pepin. And again, Pepin's a little bit like Harko. He's that sort of utility role. He can play forward, play back, play in that midfield group.
I'm not sure Dawson has been moved forward, by the way. He was only just in front of the defensive line when he played that. Just
considering everyone else was in front of him.
He's still a halfback.
Pepin. Here's a shot. He's probably right on his range here. Just inside 50. Right foot kick going towards goal. That won't make it. Oh, my God. Yes, it did. Sorry, had a little bit of loss of vision there.
Well, don't make excuse. It looked like it was falling short from this. So, no, we need to just own that one. But Pepin, well, You said it was right on the edge of his range, and that was absolute perfection, Kane Brown.
I'll take whatever I can get this afternoon.
But again, we see now how quickly you have to switch. Both of these sides, if it's a slow switch of play, you may as well not do it because it's just completely covered. But any time, it's almost a mirror image of the goal that Williams scored earlier, where just two passes from left to right, catch him unawares, bang, bang, shot on goal. You're away.
When you're front of centre, both these sides have got plenty of players with that kicking ability just to nail a kick inside 50, that 35 to 40 metre kick, lace out, didn't have to move Pepin, didn't have to break stride either, and a great finish. Walbers back in the ruck for the Hornets. Look at that for a tap out. Toy's going to end up with it. Almost got his head taken off. Looking for Batchelor. Batchelor gets the handball out. They've got the extra number here. Ball hits the deck. Umpire says play on. Probably should have been a free kick. Ball rolls towards the boundary line. But again, it was a 3-on-1 in favour of the Hornets.
And it was Hunkin who came away with it. And yes, maybe he held an opponent early, but you cannot fault the effort.
No.
And Phil Castle will be pretty pleased with that one.
You don't get caught in no man's land. He definitely decided to go for the contest and did extremely well, Hunkin. Huddy v. Walbers, both holding, no free kick. Again, going through the corridor, ends up in the hands of Brock Aston, probably his first clean kick of the afternoon. Couldn't quite hit the target. Mark should have been taken. Ball hits the deck, high tackle, goes in favour of the Hornets. And they get let off. They get let off on that occasion.
Well, the RVP forward, who I just can't identify at the moment, he was standing in between the defensive lines. It was too structured, the defence from the Aspley on that occasion. They got away with it. And, that structure's going to work to their benefit now, but it didn't a moment ago.
Here's Brown. Brown towards the boundary line. That's out in the full. A little bit off with the kick. Ball ends up in the hands of Matthews. He's kicked a goal. Kicked the first goal of the game this afternoon. So he started well, Matthews. Looking forward. That's not a bad kick at all. Right on 50. Ends up in the hands of number 18 in Damien Stephen.
Problems with Aspley's zonal defence at the moment. Maybe there's a bit of a lack of communication, but RVP are finding holes all over the place. It's like a crumpet.
I've got nothing for that comment.
No, just call the play, mate.
No, you're definitely right. Stephen now launches a kick. That's going to go right to the goal line. Unfortunately, last line of defence. That's Dawson again. He's probably 4-1 in contested marks in favour of the Hornets, so he's winning that battle with Williams. Williams really hasn't been sighted much at all. He's been caught in the contest a few times. He hasn't been able to push off. Speaking of pushing off, ends up in the hands of the big fella. This is Freeman. Freeman launches a kick towards half forward. Walbers was there. Watson's there. Again, look at the kick to Stackelberg.
I was on the tip of my tongue was he's got nothing to kick to, and then obviously Stackelberg took off just as that thought entered my head. So that's I'm just lucky I didn't mention on air that I had that thought in my head. Otherwise, I'd look really, really silly.
But Stackelberg is one of those players too. His leading pans are brilliant. That was the only space you could possibly lead into. Hit the mark. Watson was good with the kick as well, going inside 50 once more. Hit him lace out. Stackelberg, goal number 2. That's a better kick. Look at that. That's better from Stackelberg. He's got 2 as the Hornets push further in lead. 4-4-28 to 3-1-19.
It was never going to take him long to find his range.
We've played just over 28 minutes.
And so Aspley are now winning junk time. It was Rolls who got the first goal after we'd passed the 20 minutes, but in the absence of Chris Yeen, we better talk about those goals late in the quarter.
Yes.
Aspley, by getting those 2 to take a substantial lead now, they are, it's a much better looking quarter for them than it was even 5 minutes ago, really.
Now, Dawson's been allowed to sort of go, he's really not being held to account. He's always on that last line of defence. Unfortunately for the Sharks, Williams on the other hand, getting caught in the contest. He's trying to be that third man up to clear the ball, getting caught out. So his man stays down, he goes up. He's getting caught out on a few occasions.
Well, if Dawson's always in the right spot in the back, then that calls into question the previous shot for goal by RVP to our right, where maybe if it's not going to reach the goal, you need to look for a shorter kick. You can't just give it away to Dawson because, what was that, maybe 7 or 8 passes and it was a goal at the other end.
Oh, speaking of the kick, that would have been a beauty if it came off. Here's Batchelor now, decides to take a bounce. Kicks towards half forward, looking for Stackelberg. Not going to get there. Great pickup, though.
Watson's loose up front.
Watson screaming for the footy. Ball rolls towards the boundary line. Umpire decides to throw it in. Williams was screaming at the umpire, trying to get out on the full. They weren't falling for that. Now, again, dangerous spot here, just inside 50. Ball gets thrown in. Both ruckmen go up. No clear winner. Ball ends up in the hands of the Hornet, though. Snap on goal, right foot. Look at the numbers. Ball hits a deck. That's a kill. That's a goal.
Might be Wolbers.
Might be Wolbers, you say?
I'm just...
Well, Wolbers is coming back, so it's definitely not Wolbers. Freeman. Well, Freeman drifted forward. Got to the goal line. I thought that ball was going to get punched clear over the line. Didn't.
Well, that was the plan.
It was almost a slips catch by the big fella. Ends up in the hands. Quick snap on goal. Good thinking. Good goal. Aspley move further ahead. 5-4-34 to 3-1-19. We're getting very close to quarter time here. Round 20 QAFL action between the Aspley Hornets and the Victoria Point Redland Bay Sharks. I'm glad I got that right. I almost got them mixed up.
You didn't actually. You went backwards, but I like you know this team backwards. That's
I'm going to be moonwalking by the end of this. Okay.
No, 8-goal first quarter, no lack of entertainment. And Aspley have got the last 3 and 6 minutes.
Well, umpire balls the ball up again. No real clear winner. It's a juicy contest between Huddy and Wolbers. Ball hit the deck. Got held up. Huddy. Wolbers. Wolbers gets the tap out. Ends up in the hands of Toy. Good luck marking that, boys. Players go up. Dodge was there. Couldn't get hands on the footy. Here come the Sharks now. That's a better kick. Got to go long. Decides to go short. That's good.
I'll disagree with your initial call. I think he did need to go short. Found the lead. But no, James Moreno have been impressed with him in this first quarter. He's been taken out of play the last few minutes as Aspley's been getting a run on. And now with the kick to Josh Brown, they've got a chance to just put a little bit of wind up the Hornets coming into quarter time.
And in the end, best way to get Liam Dawson out of the game, don't kick it anywhere near him. As the quarter time siren goes, here's a good finish. Can they drop the lead down? Kick for goal. That's it. Good goal. Quarter time here. Brown with that effort. Kicks his first of the afternoon. Quarter time here. Very juicy contest. Round 20 QAFL action from Graham Road. Looking at the scores, 5-4-34. Aspley, 4-1-25. Redland, nothing in it, 9 points the margin. This is quarter time. We'll be back for second quarter action in a few moments. And welcome back to round 20 QAFL action here from Graham Road. Very juicy first quarter between these two sides. Aspley leading the Sharks by 9 points. My name's Kane Brand. I'm joined in the box by Daniel Viles on special comments. Welcome back, Daniel. What did you think of that first quarter?
Look, it was an entertaining first quarter, and I think it was actually quite a cagey first quarter. Even though there were 9 goals scored, there was a lot of feeling each other out. There was a lot of kicking the contests to see where the advantages could be gained, and in the end, they it wasn't a stalemate. I mean, ultimately, Aspley have a 9-point lead, and to the extent that there's much of a win factor, they were kicking into it, so they're ahead at the moment. Incidentally, in the corresponding match in round 8 out at Totally Workwear Park, it was a 5-point lead to Aspley at quarter time, so they've got a bit of form here. The second quarter was when they really made it count that day and pulled away.
No, you're definitely right there. If you want to go through the goal kickers, you can.
So 2 for Stackelberg. He's up to 63 for the year now, which is still a fair way behind the absent Hamilman, but, give him a little while. Batchelor, Pepin and Freeman with the other goal scorers for the Hornets. For the Sharks, Matthews, William, Rolls, and then Brown on the quarter time siren.
Now, I just noticed a quarter time, as in the huddles, it was just a quick look up. You had Williams in there, just talking with his backline group, and also Yagmore was in that backline group as well, which is interesting. He might start at sort of that centre half back in this second quarter, but just noticing Williams talking to his coaching staff that, guys, I'm being held accountable today. Guys are standing next to me, putting their body next to me, pushing, a little bit of body pressure. He's been caught in the contest a little bit too often from my liking in that first quarter. Allowed Aspley to have that extra number on the deck, ball at the deck, extra number, handball over the top, or a quick snap on goal. It always seems to end up in the hands of his direct opponent, unfortunately. So Williams has been a little bit off. On the other end of the tape, you got the likes of Liam Dawson, who's that last line of defence. No one's making him accountable. He's taken a number of intercept marks like he usually does in that opening quarter. So the Sharks need to make him a little bit more accountable in this second quarter. As the umpire blows the whistle, Walbers versus Huddy. Juicy ruck contest between these two. No one's really had the advantage. Walbers wins the contest on that occasion. Ends up in the hands of Brock Aston. Hasn't had a lot of the footy. Been blanketed pretty well by Harker. Ball rolls towards the boundary line. Still in play.
Well done,
handball.
Craven.
That could have been high on the ball. No free kick paid. Sharks go backwards. Bumped off the footy after the play. That's downfield.
So Hausfeld winning that free kick, number 36 for the Sharks.
Looks like it's going to end up in the hands of William. Kicked a pretty good goal. No. Umpires said, no, you can't give it to him. You've got to take the kick. So it ends up in the hands of Brown. He's already kicked one this afternoon, but he's right on the boundary line. Looks like he's going to do the Dusty Martin routine around the body from about 35 to 40 metres out. Right foot snap. Coming back a little bit too far, though. That's a minus score to the left-hand side. And Dawson will be kicking out from full back once more.
Gap down to 8 points, and just in case something went horribly awry with that kick, RVP were well set up to cut off any counter as well, as the field is as spread as I've seen it today.
Not a bad kick, just outside 50, looking for Walbers. Ball hits the deck, plenty of numbers. Look at the Hornets going in waves, but Yagmore was good on that occasion. Got to be clean, Sharks. They are. Decides to handball backwards. Not the best of kicks. Looking for Williams. That's a great effort by Crawley towards Toy. Toy had to be clean there. A little bit of a fumble. Tried to get the handball out. Snap on goal. That's a free kick.
And Crawley's got a chance to get reward for his own effort. The old adage, never kick to a stationary target. Crawley saw the target was stationary and then thought, well, I'm not. I'm going to get in there, get my fist in, and then just kept charging after that. Toy did well to get the ball away after he was caught on the ground. But, in fact, it's not Crawley who has the free kick, but he can still take some credit for that play.
No, you're definitely right there, Daniel. Ends up in the hands of Lonigan. Looking for goal number 1 this afternoon as Batchelor comes back on the ground for the Hornets. Lonigan, check side kick around the body. Didn't get all of it. Ends up in the hands of guess who? Adrian Williams.
It's that end.
Williams, yes, it's that end of the ground. Last line defence.
The intercept mark again.
For the intercept markers.
The Bowls Club end here at Aspley. It's up Aspley Oval.
It's the only place I could find to park this afternoon. There's plenty of numbers here. Look at Walbers and Huddy. But again, Dawson just comes across the front of the contest. Good intercept mark. Dawson now. Kick towards half forward. No one at home for the Sharks. Ends up in the hands of Batchelor. Batchelor, cross half forward. Look at the numbers inside. 50 for the Hornets here. Plenty of numbers for the Sharks. Batchelor, right to the hot spot. Plenty of numbers. No one can get their hands on the footy. Ball gets pushed through for a rush behind.
Walbers made about 3 leads in the middle there. All of them were ignored. And I thought he was within range as well. Maybe just lifting the eyes a bit could have been good.
Sharks deciding to move the ball quickly. Ends up in the hands of Williams. That 45 kick back on the inside. Ends up in the hands of O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan to Hunkin. Hunkin now switches across. That's okay. Handball off to Williams. Williams now. Quick short kick. Ends up in the hands of Matthews. Matthews now just slows the play down. Right in front of us here. Kicks the ball to Huddy. In front of Walbers on that occasion. Again, dangerous kick. That free kick was there. Decides to play on. Kick inside 50 now. Numbers are with the Hornets though. Bullet to deck. Brock Aston. Great tackle. Gets held up. Now here's some push and shove. Umpire says, boys, knock it off.
Notice that you named them.
Hang on.
Sorry.
Now, that was silly. That was silly from the Sharks. It was supposed to be a stoppage. And it's always that last bloke, number 36 for the Sharks.
That's Tyler Hausfeld. Just got drawn into it. His eye got up.
Just got sucked in.
Yeah.
Gave that little nudge. And it was more of a pretty decent shove. But it's right in front of the umpires. You've got to be better than that. As play continues. Could be held holding the ball. Hasn't got his hands on it, though, so umpire gives him benefit of the doubt. Decides to come in for another stoppage.
Now, what Hausfeld needs to be careful here is that in an effort to make up for his error, over-trying and doing something worse. He's just got to engage the brain and he'll be fine.
Overcompensation there. Batchelor gets caught with a footy. And again, bit of push and shove. Brock Aston, Harker hunts him down. Good tackle. Great effort there by the Sharks. Ends up in the hands of Huddy. Huddy right to the goal square. Great effort there. Could have been tackled. No, got his foot the ball.
And that was Hausfeld.
Hang on. Sorry, Daniel.
Cool.
No. All clear. Goal scored. And that was Hodfeld.
That was Hausfeld. Getting the goal, 6th minute of the second quarter. And that was perfect. Saw that the goal square was empty, the kick was going to fall short, positioned himself well and positioned his body. The only mistake he semi-made was by playing on straight away rather than taking the shot. All's well that ends well. It was more or less just a case of whether he got enough of the bit of his leg below the knee to the ball. Ended up doing that. Just quickly, bit of shop. Mitchell Black, number 46 for RVP, was named as an emergency, but he's on the field. I'll do my best to find out who he's replaced.
No worries. While you work on that. And that was probably the first time Liam Dawson got caught out of position too. He got sucked up the ground, wasn't sure whether to go forward to the contest or stay back on his man, decided to do neither. Ball went over his head, ends up in the goal square to Hosfeld, and he kicks a good goal, and he probably owed him that one. So, 5-5-35, Aspley still got the lead by 3 points, 5-2-32, the Sharks. Batchelor gets another clearance. Ball kicked towards half forward. Looking for Stackelberg. Ball drops short. But unfortunately for the Hornets, the Sharks on the counter-attack. Ball hits the deck. Intercepted once more. Looking for Toy. But again, intercept right in the middle of the ground. Tried to palm off. Got tackled with a footy. Aston handballs forward. Kick inside 50. 1-on-1. Good mark. That's better from the Sharks. Ends up in the hands once more of Joshua Brown, who started reasonably well, Daniel.
Had a good day. Leighton Brown was just laid onto that. Went for the, I was about to say chop of the arms. Of course he didn't go for that. He went for the punch. That's what he was going for. But yeah, it was always too late. Which, considering, I mean, fairly slight target is Brown, and to be able to not knock him off, that's a bit of a loss.
Brown now. Slow and steady approach. Right foot kick. Right to left. Doesn't go back left enough, though. Minus score to the Sharks. They get a touch closer. 5-5-35 to 5-5-33. 10 scoring shots to 8. Nothing in this. We've played right on 8 minutes in the second quarter. Aspley coming out of trouble once more. Good mark taken by William. Sorry, number 19, Michael Best. I was looking at the wrong sheet. Best kicks the ball forward. Good mark taken there. Freeman once more. He's slowly but surely coming into this contest. Huddy, and again, 50.
That was just some needless push and shove behind the marker. The marker stayed perfectly still. Behind him, there was just a bit of, bit of testosterone happening, and yeah, silly.
Now that was Michael Best getting caught, basically, sucking his opponent in, which in that situation was actually Huddy. Contact was made, but last time I checked, I mean, that's as you might as well be standing next to him. That's as close as you can get. There's supposed to be that 5 metre space. No one can encroach on that area.
Yeah.
Umpire had to give 50 in the end, but geez, if Huddy was any closer to him, he would have been giving him a piggyback.
And in the end, they've dodged a bullet by only conceding one. Sorry, do you need to call that? Liam Dawson took an intercept mark. Should we just let that pass?
No, he's got to call it. Got to call it. Dawson, look at that. And guess who it is, the man of the moment. Geez, he's really coming into this game, Freeman.
Well, I mean, the pedigree he's got. He's not slumming it in the QAFL. I mean, very lucky to have him here, but I mean, yeah, he's a quality player.
Freeman now. Might be just on his range. Right foot kick. Look at that comeback. That's a brilliant goal. Now, Aspley. 6-6-42 to 5-3-33. Move the margin out to 9 points. Right on the 10-minute mark in the second quarter. And probably in the space of 30 seconds, Huddy's just been not that accountable for his actions, unfortunately. He's given away a couple of silly free kicks, gave away a 50. Could have taken full advantage, but didn't. But on the counter-attack, ball came back out. Ended up in the hands of the man of the moment in Freeman.
Well, you could argue
that was a brilliant kick from right on 50.
You could argue that the 50-metre penalty gave away 7 points, really, because it was all part of the same play. We live in a world where you can come down here for free and see quality players like John O'Freeman doing things like that. I mean, thank you for everyone who's listening into the coverage, but if you're anywhere near Aspley, get down here and enjoy yourselves, please.
There's plenty of supporters around this ground this afternoon as the ball gets recalled. Freeman's been pushed back into the ruck as well.
This umpire, Rowan Smith, I happened to under-18 women's game down at Gold Coast last week. He was one of the 3 field umpires. Did an excellent job. Got a good future, Rowan Smith.
Freeman almost got the second effort, but the clearance is with the Sharks. As the ball drifts towards that far side wing, that could be out in the full. Boundary umpire says no.
Yeah, he's about 100 metres closer, we'll believe him.
Just snuck inside the line, I think.
Have we seen Luke O'Sullivan, number 44 today? I'm wondering whether he's the player who's made way for Black.
It actually, to be honest, I think that might be right, Daniel. Just keep a close eye on that one.
Will do.
As it looks like Pacquiao and Freeman. Freeman gets front position, brings the ball to ground again. Ends up in the hands of Jack Rolls. He's been a little bit better in the second quarter, quite early in the quarter. Really kicked to no one. That's out in the full, so that's going to go straight back in the hands of the Sharks.
I think it's Miller out there.
Miller?
I think.
You got the binoculars, mate.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I was using them.
You can keep 4 eyes on that.
It was Miller. He passed it inside to Yagmore.
Now,
Pushed in the back, 50.
Rowan Smith decides to give 50 away. The 50 was definitely there, a little bit late.
Oh, that's the kind of 50 they show in the umpire's coaching video where someone just comes along and puts hands in the back. There's a lack of discipline here today. It's surprising me.
Now, there's you've got to keep that aggression intact. Like, you can attack the footy with some aggression, you can attack the player with some aggression. You just got to be a little bit smarter, especially when you're a foot away from the umpire. I mean, he's going to give that every day of the week. So, here we go. Yagmore towards goal. Not going to get there. Ball hits the deck, and guess who? It's Freeman on the last line of defence.
There's only one Jono Freeman out there, isn't there?
He decided to say to Dawson, this job's easy. I'll just sit back here and take a couple of intercept marks.
Dawson will get the union onto him for demarcation.
And guess who? Dawson, not the best kick he's had this year. Handball back in board. Here's a chance for the Sharks, looking for an option. Decides to kick on the right. But unfortunately, way off the mark.
That was Dean Benson.
That's how the fall. Wasn't quite sure, was in two minds. Decided to go for goal. Way off the mark.
The drop pump was the option there. There must have been some reason why he couldn't do it. Possibly someone just blocking off a defender right in his range. You know what I meant?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll edit that part out later. Oh, turnover.
Oh, speaking of bad play, forced onto the left.
Damien Stephen misses.
Damien Stephen. Left foot kick.
Well, they're attacking numerically at the moment, so Ruben Williams will have the next shot on goal.
In the words of Batchel, I'm not going to use the exact language, but I think he said kick down the line. Bleep, bleep, bleep.
In the words of Dennis Cometti, that was the Australian word for whoops.
That's special.
He's good. He's good.
Oh, geez. We need guys like Cometti.
We're trying.
And Bruce still calling footy. Ends up in the hands of the Hornets, but the numbers are with the Sharks. Here's William. William to Rolls. Rolls kick inside 50. Ball hits the deck. Ends up in the hands of Dawson. Dawson, with all the pressure though, handball over the top. Is that Brown again? It is Brown. There's another one.
And set up by Rayner.
Brown, goal number 2. And like you say, Daniel, set up by Rayner beautifully. Just put enough body pressure on Liam Dawson. Ball came to ground. Clean with the hands. Handballed over the top to Brown. And Brown even had enough time just to dummy back inside, get back on his left foot. Meter out. Easy goal.
And just with the breeze, I mean, it's there. It's not significant. But if anything, the right end is supposed to be the scoring end. It's not. Most of the play's been up the left. 2-point ball game. I mentioned back in round 8, the second quarter was where Aspley pulled away. Not happening today.
They're not going away, the Sharks. Redland-Victoria point, trailing by 2 points, 6-4-40, 6-6-42. Aspley leading just over on 15.5 minutes, second quarter. Brock Aston, and that's the thing too, Brock Aston hasn't had his hands much on the footy. Speaking of Aston though, almost got that clearance, ended up in the hands of Ruben, geez, I'm getting these ones mixed up. Packout. Packout got the clearance. I thought it was Aston. Ball gets locked in at half forward. Favour of the Sharks.
No, Aston's loose. Campbell Aston's loose at centre half forward at the moment.
Campbell Aston can be very dangerous too. Brock seems to get all the accolades, but Campbell does all the grunt work down across half back. That's a shocking attempt at a hairball. Didn't even get his hand on the ball. Here's a chance for the Hornets.
Not a lot forward of them, though.
And again, just a little bit clumsy. Toys there. Good tackle laid. Didn't really have a chance. So the umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt. Comes in for another stoppage.
And because Aspley have been under the pump, they had a lot of players behind the ball, so they couldn't take advantage of the turnover on that side.
You can move the ball quickly, but again, it's that last option, isn't it? If you look up and there's no one at home, you can't do much about it.
No, do you play for possession? Do you pass back to the goalkeeper? Whoops, sorry, wrong sport. Matilda's on at 5 o'clock.
Oh, well, it's going to be a quick exit here for a lot of people wanting to tune into that this evening. Good luck to the Matildas. Here come the Sharks once more. Bit of a hack kick to base. Ball bounces on its end. Both players contest. Sharks have got the outnumber though. Here's a chance. Kick towards William. Williams got it now. 60 metres out. That's better. Kick inside. That's not better. Oh, still ends up with the hands of the Sharks. Left foot snap on goal. Oh.
And that was O'Sullivan, who I thought was gone. So it's clearly not him, but he's missed. But again, Dean Benson's growing into this game. Didn't see much of him in the first quarter. Maybe he was on the other side of the ground, a bit out of our eye shot. But the number of times he's been the link man or the creator, or in one case the not quite finisher, he's starting to not dominate that forward 50, but definitely become a real player in the contest.
Ruben Williams becoming very dangerous playing across half forward. Going to be front and centre. Freeman was there. Could have been a free kick. No free kick paid. Bit of a hack kick back forward. All of a sudden, the Sharks with the outnumber. Kick towards goal. Is that going to come back? No, hits the post.
Third time today, Stephen.
Stephen?
Not the third time for Stephen, but the third time that post has been hit.
Well, thank God Lee Matthews isn't here this afternoon. He probably going to break that thing in half. It's been hit that many times.
No, they make them tougher these days.
Oh,
the post, not the Lee Matthews.
You can't make him any tougher than lethal. Ball comes across. Got a little bit of an overlap. Here's a chance for the Hornets. One-on-one. Handballs to Toy. Toy pushes off his man. Runs towards goal. That's better from the Hornets. Toy. Believe he kicks his first for the afternoon. And they increase that lead back. 7-6-48 to 6-6-42. Played right on 19 minutes in the second quarter as Toy comes off for a well-earned rest.
And again, the highlight of that goal, I mean, the shot on goal was brilliant enough, but it was the breaking the tackle at pace where, let's be honest, I mean, the RVP right side defence hasn't had a lot to do defensively for the last, let's say, 10 minutes or so. Suddenly they had a Reece Toy charging at them. Was too much for them. Before that, it was Macaulay Lonergan who did well at the left. I missed who gave the ball to him, but again, being able to break away from the contest there, that's the goal was set up long before it got to Toy.
And that's the thing too. Under pressure, under the pump, at full pace, when you're clean with the hands, it's a massive advantage. And Toy took full advantage of that. Ran into an easy goal in the end, but he had to do the work. Well done to Toy. He's one of the cleanest hands in the competition, that's for sure. As both ruckmen go up once more, Walbers gets the tap out on that occasion. All of a sudden, you feel a little bit of ascendancy in favour of the Hornets. Ball hits the deck. Hornets end up with it. Kick inside 50. One-on-one. Steckelberg couldn't take the mark. Ball rolling towards the line. Is that a goal?
Just the barest hint of leather from the boot before it went through. Not much at all. And
Williams gets touched right on the last line. Just about went over the fence. Good effort by Williams on the last line on that occasion. Was going to die wondering. Speaking of Williams, ends up with the ball now. Right on the last line in the right backward back pocket.
And Aspley covered the switch almost by just jogging.
Looking for William. William really couldn't get off the ground on that occasion. Ball still ends up. Speaking of Williams, here he is now. That's not a bad kick, but unfortunately, Dawson intercepts. No, it's not play on. You handballed backwards. You're going to bring that one back. That would be good, wouldn't it? Well, you handballed it backwards. That's play on. No, it's not. Dawson got a little clip behind the ear, trying to intercept that possession.
Well, he got front position. The technique was perfect.
Towards half forward. Ball hits the deck. A little bit clumsy there on the tackle. Yagmore locks the ball in. Another stoppage. Huddy's up forward for the Sharks. Williams up forward. So a couple of danger players there. The Hornets have got to keep an eye on. That could be a mark. Yes, it is. It's paid.
That's Black.
That's Black. Black. Right on half-back. That's the one for me. Dodge really hasn't been sighted much at all in this game at all. Dawson there. Look at that for a mark.
That's the most photogenic of the day. Not his best because there wasn't really entrapping.
But that's his bread and butter.
Yeah.
third man up, clunks the ball in the hands, doesn't fumble very often. One grab players, speaking of one grab players, you say Dodge hasn't come into the game so far, and all of a sudden he ends up with the ball right on the boundary line.
We're in junk time. Aspley have the last goal. They won the last junk time 3-2 in the first quarter.
Now he's just about in the third row here, running in. Now, does he go to the hot spot? It looks like he's going to go for goal.
They're well set up to cover a counter-attack, Aspley, so he's got that freedom to go.
Dodge, right foot kick, going towards goal. Look at that come back. Not quite. Goes to the left-hand side. Another minor score.
Half century up for the Hornets. They raised the bat.
7-8-50 to 6-6-42. 8 points the margin.
Have we seen Mitch Stallard for RVP today?
No, we haven't.
Okay, so possibly him. That's my new theory.
Well, we're just ruling them out as we go. Huddy couldn't take the mark. Ends up in the hands of a Hornet.
That was Arnold.
Arnold, who's been a little bit quiet as well. That's really probably the first impact he's had on a contest.
Popped up once in the first quarter, but you're right. He's not been a major player today.
But sometimes those role players, like, I don't mind if I don't get the footy as long as you don't. So he's sort of that defensive-minded at the moment. He's going to be right front and centre of this contest. Ball gets over the back. Hornets player literally decided just to walk over the boundary line.
I don't know if Huddy and Freeman are direct. Oh, well, they are direct opponents at the moment. But I mean, the ruck is the least interesting part of what they're doing because their marking contests around the ground are fantastic to watch.
No, you're definitely right there, Daniel. As two players in question go up once more.
Yeah, the age of galloping gasometer rucks is well and truly over.
No. Geez, there'd be plenty of ruckmen back in the day who'd be giving you death stares, I think, after that comment.
Oh, I'm 6'4", I can handle myself.
As the play continues, clean with the hands, ends up in the hands of Brock Aston. Aston left foot kick, that's better from Brock. Again, though, right on the boundary line.
I think it's Hausfeld. He's been playing full forward the last, probably most of this quarter, really.
Hausfeld. Right on the boundary line. Just like Dodge about 30 seconds ago up the other end. Right foot kick. Coming back with the breeze. Not going to get there. Right to the hot spot. Is that a goal? I think that's a goal.
No, it's a free kick.
Free kick.
So mark's been taken. Free kick's gone to Packow. Bit of an argument, but not too much protesting from the Hornets defenders. Packow, narrow angle. I don't think he'll care.
Now, was that one of those sort of, that third man sort of blocking the contest?
More than likely. It was just a mark. Just a mark.
Chest mark. Okay. Packow. Off the mark, though. Left-hand side. Tried to do the check side. Pretty tight angle.
I thought you meant off the mark as that he opened his goal tally. No, he was off the mark.
He was almost trying to suck the goal umpire in there to give it a goal because he was celebrating like he kicked a goal.
Wouldn't be the first.
No, definitely won't be the last either. Ball heads towards Walbers and rolls. Walbers had this hot size advantage, but the ball ends up with the Sharks. Decide to go about 30 metres back on the switch.
They've got 3 free on the left, and if that, it's going to go to Campbell Aston, but it's taken out the 3 players in front of him.
Campbell almost kicks to himself, got pushed off the contest though. Oh, look at that from Freeman, don't argue. Huddy was there. Freeman once more.
Oh, golly gosh.
Yeah, let's go with that. Hopefully that wasn't picked up too much on the effects mic.
Oh, it's fine. But, I mean, Freeman was being professional there, and, it's the kind of thing, the higher you go, the less you bother complaining about that sort of thing, because everyone does it.
Look at that tap out from Walbers, almost ended up in the hands of Batchelor, got intercepted by Rolls, ends up in the hands of Toy. Toy handballs it back, ends up in the hands of Dawson. Dawson launches a long bomb towards half forward. Sackelberg, that's a free kick.
Yeah, hands in the back from Williams.
Got pushed under the footy. Watson's got to take off to the goal square. There's no one up forward. Stackelberg is there. Now Watson's there.
Michael Best was given an eternity there to make up his mind. There wasn't any pressure on him from RVP, and there was even less pressure on Jono Freeman.
Freeman. Dawson runs off. Look at Dawson. If Dawson had run into that space and got the foot in his hands, that'd be an absolute joke from a defensive point of view. Freeman, not as accurate as the kick before. Push to the right, minus score.
Well, that was the longest set shot he's had today, and I mean, with 2 straight shots, it's his first miss. He's earned the right to say, okay, let's see how it's travelling today.
7-9-51 to 6-7-43. We're in red time here in the second quarter before half-time, looking for William.
And there's only 4 goals this quarter, so we're not going to go to 32 like we did last quarter.
William now, can they get a goal in stop red time? Go into half-time, bit of confidence. Bring the margin back to 2 points. 8-point the margin at the moment. Just hovering across half-back at the moment. Launches the ball, 50 metres down the line. Outnumbered there. Huddy was there with 3 Hornets opponents. That's a dangerous kick back and board. Pressure was put on. Still took the mark. Good effort there.
Yeah, Walber's just got away with that. The mark was good. The kick was ruck-like. Into Craven.
Back to Dawson.
They've put the cue in the rack, Aspley. They need to be careful here because one cough up and suddenly tempo football looks a bit silly.
Dawson to Arnold. Arnold back to Dawson. Dawson going back out wide. Kicks the ball short. So between the wing and half back. Looking for Toy. Toy was screaming back in board for it. Decides to go down the line. Walbers is there. Huddy gets up. Brings the ball to ground. Here's some rebound footy from the Sharks. Aston. Handballs over the top. A little bit slow there. Toy was there. Kick over the top. A little bit of an overlap. Got to go, Dawson. Decide not to. Tackle laid. On the ball.
Lonergan. Beautiful work from Lonergan because Astley's defence was in disarray there as RVP thought, right, now's our chance. It was just maybe one handball needed to be a little flatter and to get there quicker, and Lonergan would have been taken out. He saw his opportunity, took it.
Take 2 for the Hornets. Arnold's got it now.
Lonergan's had a good quarter overall, actually. That was a nice full stop on his quarter.
No, he's done extremely well this quarter, Lonergan. Again, that contest between Huddy and Walbers. Huddy wins out on that occasion, though. Good, solid mark. Looking for Aston. Didn't go there, though. They got it 3-on-2. Kick towards goal. Right foot kick. Right across the face. That's probably a win for the Sharks.
Tom Matthews' first shot on goal since he scored the opening goal of the match.
Probably in shock the ball ended up in his hands in that position there. He wasn't expecting it. Not the best of kicks towards goal. Rolled across the face. Over the line for a boundary throw-in. Really dangerous here for the Hornets. Got to keep him out. Huddy wins the tap out, though. Towards the boundary line once more. Ball rolls over. Another boundary throw-in.
It's the most congested we've seen the play today. It's pretty much all in that quarter. There's probably only about 3 or 4 players not on your screen right now. Maybe a few more.
We're bordering on the 31-minute mark of the second quarter.
Yeah, surprising.
Ball gets thrown back in. About 30 metres out from the Sharks' goal line. Good tackle laid. No chance to get the ball out on that occasion. Another stoppage. Huddy and Walbers battle out once more. Ends up in the hands of Aston. Ball gets pushed over the line. Or should I say Brock Aston got pushed over the line. Another boundary throw in.
It was all a bit Newton's first law of motion, wasn't it?
Just absorbing a bit of the pressure here, the Hornets. Sharks on the attack. Huddy gets the ball out of the ruck, but unfortunately, not that great with the left foot kick. It's good. It's good to see a big fella kick on the opposite side of his body, though.
I was going to say, if that's a missed kick with the wrong foot, there are plenty of forwards who wouldn't mind having that kind of a missed kick.
No.
Plenty of distance on it.
No, definitely. just not the accuracy. So on the last line, Hornets, right on the boundary line.
I reckon the buzzer's stuck. It really should. I'm surprised this quarter's gone this long.
Decides to kick down the line. That could be right on the boundary line as well. Williams takes a mark. Not sure if it will be paid, though. No. Split second afterwards, he goes, geez, it's probably my third mark for the afternoon, and you're not going to pay it. So, halftime here from Graham Road. Great contest between these two. Aspley, 7-9-51, leading Redland-Victoria points 6-7-43. Halftime here, round 20 QAFL action. We'll be back for third quarter in a few moments.
The thing I love about my job is that I get to combine both my passions together, surfing and musculoskeletal physiotherapy, and that was the PhD which I did here at Bond University.
I'm originally from southern Brazil, and during my PhD at Bond University, I met James Furness, and now we do surfing research together.
I was a physiotherapist, and so I took that knowledge to the surfing population. The facilities here at Bond University are incredible. Access to the equipment, so VO2 max testing, DEXA, all of that was here on campus. Really our goal is looking at minimising injury, but also maximising performance. Keeping people on the water for longer is really important. If someone can't surf, that affects their physical health, but also their mental health.
Through Bond University, I could get all the equipment I needed to do my PhD studies. It's world-class waves and international surfing events. It was a no-brainer.
We went to Snapper Rocks and we got to be part of a world-class surf event and also perform surfer health checks on the world's best surfers.
On the Gold Coast, we can find perfect work-life balance.
How I want to live my life with my family is I want it to be outdoors. I want them playing in the water, playing in the surf. The number one reason why students should come study here would be the access they have to staff, and it's just better than any other university. The fact that you can walk straight into the professor's office and get that one-on-one feedback, I think is just second to none.
Yeah, a shirt without holes in it.
You just sit there and watch him wear that velvet rug monstrosity. Those are the ones we go, yeah, I'm wearing this because I think I've got a chance.
That's it.
That's like, no, I'm standing.
If there are more chairs there, absolutely. If that's just want to reply to Jeff this year. He's saying, look, okay, what Jeff told me is what he told me. If that's what it's just, that's fine. That's Jeff said he was saying,
You know, you think about probably.
I'm sorry, my wife was coming out.
These two went well. Whoever wins that first
That's what we said about America.
yeah.
All the smart people agree.
Ocean Brains are a bit of I could he doesn't need to say much. He doesn't seem to say much, but you always think he's got that forever. Doesn't share with everyone? And just go, no, no, I've got something going. Yes. Yes. For the level and capability, each telling you how scared they are of the other's team is like neither of them are like they'll be confident in terms of getting their team up, they believe they can win, but they don't believe they can win. Yeah, but that's just the respect. Yeah, you can say the same thing about like Wilson and Florida. It's like they actually don't know how to feel.
Oh,
We'll take the win of it.
this is getting better. And of course, Southport counts as well. Natalie Pierce and Brianna ships out today. She's not a massive player. She's not cool. So what should be doing because the season's not just started.
That's okay. No, it's just on the force.
Anytime you go into it, just keep an eye on the game. It starts picking up.
And going around the ground, so Lane's hard and still little. So
we gave them the tools.
that's your fun. So I felt the vibration so strong.
Guess who?
Sometimes 3 commentators.
Well, first of all, it's not because one of them's going to be sick. But did you just mean in space once?
Yeah.
Well, have you done an after before the game, which was called People and so you put some longer microphone leads out there?
No, not yet.
Oh, well, it's too late now. I mean, they're trying to run another one, so that was...
Oh, no, they wouldn't. No. I don't know if they... I know about like June. I think meant for next time, so...
No, I mean for today. So, but we're going to get away with it because it's only for the line, just pull it out.
I guess it's just...
But no, that was for today. I was asking you, call now and see if they can run it over.
Okay, sorry, I didn't...
But I mean, it starts an hour and 15 minutes. Cooper is not a million miles away. I mean, we're about to go back. But no, that's what I was asking. If we could have got, I think we'll get away with it, but if we could have got 3 mics here, then yeah, that might be an idea. But Hannah's used to my odor by now, so you know, we'll be right with it. So,
Well, she might be used to your oval. She's used to your losing her voice.
I didn't say she liked it. I said she's used to it. So. Je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, it's all your fault. Any game's on call with you.
Stands collected.
I think the total score for about 3 games was done is about 4 points.
And if you want, I can do a round of ratings and also the history of this. So I've got stuff to send so that you can... Of course, yeah. Okay, on your call.
And welcome back, ladies and gents, for round 20 QAFL action here from Graham Road. Great contest between these two this afternoon. The Aspley Hornets, first place on the ladder, trying to secure that top spot in the double chance in the finals against the Redland-Victoria Point Sharks, who are trying to secure that second place spot, also the double chance possibly in the finals. Well, both sides well and truly nothing in it at all. 8 points the margin at half time. My name's Kane Brandon. I'm joined in the box by Daniel Viles on special comments. Welcome back, Daniel.
Thank you very much. Just to go through the goal scorers for the first half. So for Aspley, they've had the 7 goals, 2 to Stackelberg, 2 to Freeman, and 1 each to Batchelor, Pepin, and Toy. For the Redland-Victoria Point Sharks, 2 goals to Brown, 1 each to Matthews, William, Rolls, and Housefeld.
And as the sides get to position right now, I was just over near the Sharks
Huddle.
Geez, I'm doing real well to start the third quarter.
So it's a French word meaning huddle.
Yeah. There was plenty of conversations going on between the coaching staff and Williams, their backline captain, and a bit of heat between the two at half time. I think they're just trying to find a few more ways just to allow Williams to play his normal not zone off, but being able to intercept, set up, because all he's doing is getting caught in that last line in the contest, getting pushed off the footy. He's not really seeing any play up at all. The whistle goes, third quarter, the premiership quarter here between these two. Walbers in the middle, Huddy in the middle, ball goes up. Walbers wins the tap out on that occasion towards Aston and Harker. Aston ends up with it to Rolls. Rolls gets a handball out towards Huddy and Walbers. Ends up in the hands of Williams. Williams gets crunched. No free kick. First stoppage of the third quarter. Both sides, again, just starting to feel each other out in these opening exchanges.
No surprises to the left of your screen. It's Freeman at centre-half forward with Williams on him.
Harker's pushed off Rolls on that occasion, got foot on ball. That's Brock Aston at the bottom of the pack, I believe. Yes, it is. And even in that first clearance, the ball ended up with Brock Aston. Harker got sort of shepherded off the ball, so well done to the Sharks on that occasion. Ball gets pushed towards...
Crawley.
That's Crawley. Crawley's been pretty good this afternoon.
Yeah.
Pushes the ball deep inside 50 towards the boundary line. Ends up in the hands of Watson. Watson, right foot snap, hit the belly of the ball. Ball didn't go anywhere towards Stackelberg. Stackelberg kick off the ground. What a goal! First blood in the third quarter goes to the Hornets. They increase the lead to 14 points. 8-9-57 to 6-7-43. Played just under a minute and a half. That was a great effort by Stackelberg. Stackelberg, 2-on-1. He was the one. Got the ball back into the corridor. Got his foot on the footy. Kick off the ground. Right underneath the black dot.
Well,
First goal of the third quarter.
He actually had a long time to line that up. He had a good sort of 5-metre run at him. He lined it up like he was kicking a football penalty. So normally you look at the soccer goals as being a bit opportunistic, a bit, a little bit ugly. With that one, there was a lot of technique in what he did. So, yeah, nothing lucky about that goal.
Well, Stackelberg trying to qualify himself for the game tonight, is he? Just in case someone goes down at the last minute for the Matildas.
There's a few qualification issues I can see.
Yes, there is. But he didn't do his soccer skills any harm in that contest. Ruckman go up once more. No one can get the clearance. Ends up in the hands of Rolls. Rolls to Aston. Aston. That was Lonergan kicking the ball towards William. Can't be clean on that occasion. Ball rolls over for a boundary throw-in.
Had to go wide because there were no loose players up front for him. It was just all contest as far as the eye could see. Speaking of contests, courtesy of our Sam Corliss, that we think this is the 23rd meeting at the top level of Queensland state footy between Aspley and Redland combined with whoever. It's 11-all.
Jeez, that's a stat and a half.
As Sam has those.
Yeah, both ruckmen go up once more. No one get the clear win. Ends up in the hands of a Sharks player. Kicks towards. Dawson got pushed under the footy. That's a free kick.
Yeah. Was it necessary? Could they have won that contest and allowed Brown to go free at the front without the foul play? I'm not sure.
Well, Dawson almost looked like he overcommitted and was going to get almost jump under the drop of the ball anyway. So argument says they might have been able to pull that off.
And then Huddy just does what Huddy does.
And Huddy takes a well-contested mark against Walbers. Look at the kick inside 50. Can't take the mark. William is there. Couldn't get his hands on the footy, though. Tackle laid. That's better from the Sharks forwards. Locking the ball in once more.
Murdoch and Benson combining on that occasion. Murdoch went without the ball the first time. The second effort was excellent.
Another stoppage. Now look at this. There is one man front of centre for Aspley at the moment. That's Watson.
And only two men this side of centre.
You're right about that. And look at that. Another intercept. That on that occasion, that was Pepin.
Crawley's come wide.
Dodge is almost playing that decoy, just dragging his man into he's not going to be influential, but he's just dragging his man into a good spot so he can't influence the contest either. He's pushing back towards centre half forward now. Ball gets pushed down the line. Huddy comes from the side. Couldn't take the mark. Harker versus Aston. Aston was good on that occasion. Pushed the ball out. Handball over the top to Rolls. Back to Aston. Hits the pack hard. Kick inside 50. 1-on-1. Unfortunately, just over the head, trying to keep the ball in. He actually did the smart move there, the Sharks forward. Actually pushed the ball into the point post. Boundary throw in.
And I think he thought he'd missed the point post and was able to play on, but may have just collected a little bit of padding on the way past.
Well, we can't all be Higgins for Richmond a couple of years back. So the ball gets thrown in once more. Packow was there. Walbers was there. Duck underneath. That could be holding the ball. Yes, it is. And the free kick.
And again, it's easy to blame O'Sullivan for not disposing, but he kept looking for options and there weren't any. Just on that stat before, not only are they 11-all in head-to-head battles, but 10 of the last 10 contests between these two sides, the margin's been 3 goals or less.
I've got I'm almost standing here in shock at that. That's, again, well done to the stats team. Need all the help we can get. Ball towards Freeman. Williams is there. Unfortunately, chopped the arms.
Yep.
So free kick to Freeman. He stepped up sort of after probably halfway through the second quarter. Mark's taken. Stackelberg's there. Look at the extra numbers here for the Sharks. Just the kick was pushed a little bit too far. Oh, look at that for a smother. That's a great smother.
The smother was brilliant. Before that, Campbell Aston putting the lung burner in to go backwards. Just a bit of tete-a-tete at the moment. Not really sure it's necessary, but sometimes when you're in front of the clubhouse, it just takes someone who's had a little bit too much fun, let's call it, just to start something.
That's why there's a little bit of distance between the fence line and the social club there, so can't be too close to the players, so that's a good thing. Ball gets hacked forward, got pushed off the footy. That's a free kick to the Sharks.
And we all fall down.
Yes, we all fall down.
It's ring a rosy footy as RVP are able to get the quick disposal away, but then pushed off it immediately. Kane.
Dawson got pushed off the footy once more, dived on the footy. Good tackle laid, a little bit over the shoulder, no free kick. Brown was there. Ball getting pushed towards the boundary line. Again, another free kick. This one's going to Aspley though. In the hands of Daniel Joseph. Joseph switches to Dawson. Dawson back through the corridor to Harker. Got to be good here. Back to Dawson. They're going backwards here, the Hornets. That's a better kick to Toy. Toy, bit of open space. Good effort there. Gets pushed forward to a teammate. Kick inside 50. That's good to Stackelberg.
I was noting just before RVP were very slow to get across to cover it, and in the end there were 3 poor passes by Aspley, and there wasn't a lot of pressure on them, so they're in this position now.
Yagmore made the effort. He had to go to the contest. It was about 4-on-1 in favour of the Hornets. Yagmore couldn't put enough pressure on the ball carrier. Kick inside 50 to Stackelberg. Stackelberg line up for goal number 4. Kicks towards goal. Pushes it out. Way out to the right. That's out on the full.
Yeah, we didn't like it once it left the boot. He didn't like it before it left the boot. Instant hatred.
Typical goal kicker mentality. Full forward mentality. Sharks coming out of defence once more. Handball over the top. Looking to go down the line. That's dangerous towards Brock Aston. William is there though.
3 loose Hornets inside 50.
Dangerous kick. Got to bring the ball to ground. The Hornets do. Handball over the top. In the hands of Toy. Toy. Kick towards goal. There's another one to the Hornets. And that's Dodge. Dodge kicking his first. He dodged some pressure there.
Templeton.
Templeton.
Templeton got the
Geez,
goal.
I had it all set up to be Dodge and turned out to be Templeton, so apologies for that.
That's okay. I mean, whichever one was going to score it, unfortunately for RVP, that goal was pretty clear to watch about 30 seconds before it happened. They were fierce around the contest, RVP, but if they didn't win it, and eventually they didn't, there was just a line, there was a parade coming out of that contest towards goal. It was just a case of which Aspley player got his hands around it and was able to kick it. In the end, Templeton was just nice and calm, put it away, but RVP's defensive structure broke on that occasion.
And that's been able to also, the Aspley forwards been able to hold the position rather than get sucked into the contest. All the numbers were with the Sharks in the contest. Unfortunately, the ball came out, got the overlap going. Toy laying the tackle. Another stoppage in the middle of the ground. You got Walbers. You got Pack out. No clear winner. Walbers ends up with a footy in hand. Handballs it off. Kick towards half forward. Here's Dodge. Dodge to Pepin. Oh, gets his arm locked in. That's going to be on the ball. Yes, it is.
Not quite sure why the Aspley players are arguing there. It was fairly clear from this distance anyway.
Oh, great smother by Dodge. Dodge. Hack kick towards goal. Can Watson get there? Yes, he can. Well, Dodge was one of those players semi-arguing with the umpire, and all of a sudden the Sharks player decided to play on. Back to Dodge. Dodge almost kicking to Harker, back in board. Arguably in a better position, but decides to go back. I'm going to take the responsibility.
No, I'm happy with him kicking to improve the angle. I don't have a problem with that tactic.
Well, considering I practically gave him a goal 30 seconds ago, if he can nail this one for his first goal of the afternoon, it would help. Dodge. Right foot kick. That's straight over the goal umpire's hat. Thank you very much, Mr. Dodge. That's helped my stat sheet.
But again, I mean, the good thing from Daniel Webster's point of view there is that, yeah, they were arguing around the contest. They got their heads back together nice and quickly.
Oh, look at that. Would you believe, ladies and gents, I've stuffed that up again. That was actually Lonergan.
What? Thank you. Right. I believed you. I believed you, Kane Browning, and oh dear. So I should point out that the man who's correcting us at the moment, Adrian Richardson, the competition lead for the QAFL and the QAFL W, just showing he's not a one-trick pony. In fact, he's about a 12-trick pony. Yes, he's just brushing his mane as we speak. The Eck is on this week, and he wants best in show.
Well, you know what? If every goal kicker for Aspley from now on, I'm just going to say it's Dodge, and hope that at one point it's going to be.
It's Nick Dodge's world. We're just living in it.
Wolbers gets the tap out towards half forward towards Pepin. Ends up in the hands of Toy. Got a little bit of the overlap going. Aiming for Crawley. Couldn't get there. Guys jump on the footy. Another stoppage. Just inside 50 for the Hornets.
And I hope someone got a photo of Pepin's high jump over the contest as well. That was beautiful.
Oh, guess who it is? It's Dodge to Batchelor. Batchelor snap on goal. Oh, hits the post.
At least it was the other one this time. He was feeling left out.
Well, at least Dodge was involved in the contest.
No, it's all right. Let's get focused.
Here we go.
Because Aspley are on a rampage. They're turning this into the premiership quarter. They are owning that 50 at the moment, and right now it doesn't look like the ball's going to get past the right-hand part of your screen.
Dawson. Oh, Dawson's gone down. He's trying to run it off. Going to continue to watch the play. Numbers are with the Hornets. Crawley lays a tackle.
O'Dwyer just not able to hang on to the mark in the centre circle while you were watching Dawson, quite rightly. But yeah, as soon as I say they can't get past halfway, RVP's best positioning as it comes through to Rolls.
Rolls couldn't get the handball away though. Here's a chance towards half forward for the Hornets to Watson. Watson, kick inside 50. Looking for Stackelberg. Gets held with the footy in hand. Huddy. Play on, says the umpire. Gets pulled off the ball to Toy. Toy ends up in the hands of Batchelor. Snap on goal. Williams drops a mark he should have taken. Handball back to Pepin. Pepin, snap on goal. Just offline to the right. Another minor score.
Just all one-way traffic at the moment. RVP look rattled. They just look rattled at the moment. They Aspley recovered. They thought there was a mark that went 15 before, wasn't paid. Umpire was closer. They just need to get their heads back in the game.
Oh, that's good by the pressure was good there. I believe that was Pepin out there. Pushing the ball over the line. And they're just treading water in space, so they're just laying off the direct opponent enough. But when the kick is made, push forward quickly, create the contest, push the ball over the line, another boundary throw in. Huddy was there, got the hack handball out. Here's Toy once more, gets pushed in the back, no free kick paid. Hack kick towards Watson, juggling the mark, couldn't take it. Here's a chance for the Sharks. Kick down the line, gets pushed off the footy, ball rolls over. Another boundary throw in.
Murdoch got the bit between the teeth for RVP there, just broke away, and you just got the sense that he'd had enough. He thought, my team's falling out of this game, and I will do whatever I can to drag them back in.
Now, when they're in desperation like they are at the moment, the Sharks, when you've got a bloke like Hamilton out, just being able to have that target, that kicks or forward of play, just even that hack kick, all of a sudden Hamilton's not there. They don't have a lot of options forward at the moment. Free kick paid to the Hornets. Hornets going into attack once more. Kick into the forward pocket. Overran the footy there on that occasion, Stackelberg. Ball gets intercepted by William.
I take your point, though. When you've got that regular focal point in attack, it takes a lot of the guesswork out of what you have to do. You know by instinct what you're going to have to do is that ball sails out on the full. Whereas when you don't have that focal point anymore, you think, well, okay, are we all on the same page here? Are we all aiming for the same thing? What's going on?
Sometimes you got to actually bring, you got to bring the ball to ground. If you don't have that option there, forward to the footy, it can be extremely difficult. As the ball gets pushed towards the half-forward line, Freeman's there, couldn't take the mark, could have been chop of the arms. Harker dives on the footy, lays the tackle as well. Freeman's there once more. Umpire comes in, another stoppage. Just outside 50 for the Hornets.
And Aspley are in attack, but they're making the field small because they believe at the moment they can just win every one-on-one contest, and they're almost right.
That's holding the ball as well. That tackling pressure's gone up for the Hornets. They're not letting the Sharks break through the wall across their half-forward line.
Bit of width now, but nothing extravagant.
Kick inside 50, looking for Watson. Got pushed under the footy. Stackelberg was there as well. Williams got the hairball out. Kick towards the boundary line. Ball rolling on its end. Ball's not going to get to the boundary line. Kick back inside 50, 2-on-1, and the one wins out.
The contest back here, it was only James Rayner chasing. The three Aspley players worked together extremely well. Now they're back about to enter 50 again.
That's Michael Best. Now that's not good backline craft by the Sharks. A little bit lazy getting back.
RVP's walking, Aspley's running. That's oversimple, but that's pretty much what's happening inside 50 just to the right of your screen right now.
And finally, Dodge has a kick on goal. He might be on the boundary line, but he's got a kick on goal.
You're hurt, aren't you, Kane?
No, I'm not hurt. I just want to get it right, and hopefully you can help me with that. Well, even when the cameraman's talking, we're in trouble. Dodge, not online on that occasion. Ball gets kicked, juggling, attempted mark. On the last line, going to be a stoppage.
Huddy in the tackle. He's been RVP's best so far today, hasn't he?
You're definitely right there. Huddy's been all over the shop. Got plenty of the footy. Ball ends up in the hands of a teammate. Hack kick back out, and again, just building that wall. Is that a free kick to the Sharks, though? Yes, it is. Releasing the pressure valve. That's not going to release the pressure valve. Tackle instantly made. They're just panicking with the ball in hand at the moment, the Sharks. They're really feeling the pressure. And again, that pressure can turn into perceived pressure, and even when the pressure isn't on, you're still going to make those mistakes.
It's a fine line between panicking, though, and moving it quickly and not trying to overthink things, because we'd be equally critical if they were standing with the ball just waiting for the perfect option to come along.
No, you're right there. As, again, another stoppage. The ball's moved about 10 feet from where it was before.
For our younger listeners, that's 3 metres.
I'll take it. Geez, again, more soccer skills coming out to show. Dodge was there once more. I do apologise to viewers because I keep saying the name Dodge. Dodge has been around the footy quite a bit in this third quarter. He hasn't been able to get that first goal of the afternoon on the board.
That's okay. Commentary's not easy. We do our best.
No, Freeman pushes direct opponent out. Handball's back. Kick back inside 50. And guess who? It's Dodge.
I'm just going to make sure of this. You've broken. No, that is Dodge. That is
Dodge. And guess what? The Sharks had not one man anywhere near him. I'm getting the thumbs up from the boss in the other section of the comm box, so that's a plus for me.
And just to de-dodge for a moment, Craven has Jasper Craven has been doing a lot of good work. It was him who laid it up for Dodge on that occasion, but he's been an excellent link going inside 50 regularly today. Dodge
comes in now, right foot kick. That's better by the Dodge man. He's got his first of the afternoon, finally. And the Hornets move further ahead. That's 11-11-77 to 6-7-43.
And they've got the last 5.
It's a 34-point margin, as Daniel said. 5 straight goals the Hornets. Played just over 20 minutes into this premiership quarter. And they're really showing why they're the number one side in the competition for season 2023 so far.
Well, they're about 40 minutes away from being minor premiers if they keep this up, and, you can't argue with that. And, of course, there's a lot of people in many sports around the world, not quite the same in Aussie rules, where, of course, you don't have a final series. You play the regular season. You can't fluke a minor premiership. If you are the best side over 5 or 6 months, you've earned something. It's not a premiership, but it's worth something.
Well, up to 3 weeks ago, they were undefeated, the Hornets, and they've lost 2 of their last 3. As that ball's going to get recalled.
Yeah. Should we go back to Nick Dodge's hat trick? No? Okay.
I'm never going to live this one down after this game.
We're going to buy you a T-shirt. You've got to wear it everywhere.
Can't be biased. I can't have Dodge on a T-shirt. Jeez.
Let's enjoy it. Plenty of footy left to play today.
Here we go. Crawley, cross half back. Brings the ball forward. Mark that should have been taken. And again, he's just been a little bit off this afternoon, the young man in O'Dwyer.
Look, he has made a few errors, but there were a few turnovers back here at left half-back and more centre half-back where he was the one who got in the way and then made some good distributions forward. So I will go into bat for him a little bit there.
The difference is the Aspley Hornets are not turning the ball over in dangerous spots.
Yep.
And unfortunately for the Sharks, they have on a couple of occasions. Batchelor gets that one out. Speaking of O'Dwyer, there he is. William at the front position. Had a little press of the cheek, trying to convince the umpire he got clipped, but he did get a little clip from Freeman, so well spotted by the umpire.
Who was outside the boundary there, just happened to be out of position, in a brilliant out of position, if that makes any sense.
Williams kicks the ball back, last line. Back to Williams. Williams screaming for the players forward of him to actually present.
Pacau goes now.
Pacau. Oh, what a grab! What a grab for the big fella in Walbers. I saw Harley Reid take a screamer last week, but that was nearly as good, if not better. Well done to the Walbers. Kicks the ball back inside 50. Numbers are with the Sharks, though. Again, that hack kick out of trouble. Toy trying to repeat what Walbers just did. Ends up in the hands of Crawley. Crawley gets tackled.
Well, again, Black just thought, well, I better get rid of this. Kick to what was essentially a 2-on-5. A ball up's not a bad result for RVP, really.
You know, Toy trying to take a specky on Walbers, on his teammate Walbers there. I think he got halfway up and realised, I haven't got that good of a vertical leap. Ball hit the deck. Aston, that's got to be pushed in the back. Yeah. Yes, it is. Toy, first to the footy. He's probably been their best midfielder this afternoon, Toy. That's not the best of kicks, though. Gets intercepted, gets smothered, ends up in the hands of...
That was Templeton, and he's laid it up to left half forward. You would think this is within range. Templeton
to Freeman. Basically, since quarter time, Freeman's almost been... I'd love to say almost that dominant big man on the ground.
Oh, he has been. It doesn't have to be Stackelberg all the time.
Freeman, kick towards goal. That's getting pushed to the right, though. Minus score to the Hornets.
That was him accounting for a win that disappeared.
And straight away, you know, you almost need the grass, don't you, just to flick up and see where it's going, because I tell you, it wouldn't move an inch at the moment.
Worked for Lloydie.
Worked for Lloydie. 11-12-78 to 6-7-43. Ball gets pushed out the far side. Wing. Again, numbers are with the Sharks, but the cleaner of the two has been the Hornets. Another stoppage.
I don't remember an RVP inside 50 this quarter. It's been that dominant from the Hornets. 4 goals to zip. And, in fact, no points. RVP are scoreless in this quarter.
Walbers pushes the ball over the line.
27 zip, 4-3 to zip. I just like saying the word zip.
Oh, plenty of laughs in the coach's box this afternoon. Almost 25 minutes played in the third quarter. Walbers wins the clearance. Hack kick towards half forward. There's Freeman once more. Towards William, though. William trying to get his hands on the footy. Brock Aston had 3 players chasing him down. That's a little bit better. Now, That was that split second you could have gone either way, either call rolls to play on or say, no, you can go back and take your kick.
No, Jake Edgar called it early, made a decision, and in some ways, now, first of all, I think he was right, but being decisive is almost better than being right there.
Kick towards the boundary. That's a little bit better ball movement by the Sharks.
And it began with Curry at centre halfback. He showed a lot of composure. The reward is field position.
This is Benson once more.
There it is.
Towards William. William, one-on-one in the marking contest against Templeton. Takes the mark, probably 40 to 45 out.
And he's already kicked one from 50 earlier today, and that was into the wind. This one's into, well, nothing really.
On a slight angle, we're almost right behind this kick. This will be the first goal for the Sharks in the third quarter. They've got to nail every opportunity they've got for the rest of the game to get back into this.
And Williams just come back on. He's playing with a bit of energy, even in just in the 60 seconds he's been on.
William comes in now. Right foot kick, left to right. That's better from the Sharks. 26 and a half minutes played in the third quarter. Aspley, 11-12-78 to Redland. The first goal of the third quarter for them, moved to 7-7-49.
And I'm going to go all the way back to Justin Curry at centre halfback, who began that play. We've been talking about them hacking it forward. He got the ball. He saw there was a defender coming in towards him, and you could just see the concentration on his face where he was thinking his way through the problem. He wasn't just blasting. He faked right, went left, got a left foot kick to come out right side, was prepared to follow it through, realised it was being covered. It was intelligent play. That was the brains that began the process that ended in a goal.
No, well called there, Daniel. Walbers against Packow. Huddy getting a well-earned rest. Walbers goes up, probably wins the tap out, gets the second effort though. Ball ends up in the hands of Aston. Has been well and truly blanketed this afternoon up to this stage by Harker. Oh, crunching tackle there by the Sharks forward. Back in the hands of Aston. Aston pushing the ball forward. Got the extra number here. Tried to get the ball to Rolls. Handballs it back. Here's a chance for the Sharks going forward. Kick inside 50. That's better.
I liked the recovery from Luke O'Sullivan in jersey 44. Made at least one, possibly two handballs that just did not work. They were Daniel Viles quality, but he kept going through with both of them. In the end, he made a good handball, and now they've got a shot on goal as a result of a couple of subsequent disposals.
Kick for goal now. Right foot kick. Right to the goal line. That's two in a row for the Sharks. Wasn't touched on the last line. Walbers was down there, couldn't get hand on ball. Well, they've gone bang, bang in the last minute. 11-12-78. Aspley still leading Redland-Victoria point 8-7-55. We're probably in red time here. 28 and a half minutes played in the third quarter. Well, there still might be just enough time if the Sharks are good enough to kick another going into the three-quarter time, give them a bit of confidence. Now, I'm not quite sure who actually kicked that goal, Daniel. Did you see?
I thought it was Packow, but I'm happy to be corrected. So, yeah.
Packow?
So this is where we need like a Twitter line or something where people can go, no, you numbskulls, it was this person. So.
No, well, I got that at Sharks last week when someone messaged through and went, oh, by the way, we can't hear anything you're saying in the opening quarter. So that was well picked up on by one of the viewers. So thank you. Batchelor streaming through the middle of the ground. Straight to guess who? That's Stackelberg. Oh, bad signs here from one of the Sharks defenders laying on the ground that marking contest. Oh, holding his left leg.
That's Justin Curry.
Curry.
And his left leg's his kicking leg from what I've seen so far today.
Not sure. I think that's a hamstring. Trying to keep pace with Stackelberg in that contest. Came down awkwardly. Slowly got up, and the first thing he went for was that left-hand hamstring. Nothing worse than hearing that thing twinge.
Yeah, it certainly hasn't. It's not the worst, but it's clearly not good. And how often does it happen when your team is struggling? The catalyst, the one who is putting in the most effort to get you back into the contest, they're often the one that seems to get injured. I'm not quite sure how the universe works in that regard, but as it gets a bit of nice encouragement from Brandon Batchelor. They play hard, but there's a lot of respect out there on this field.
Well, the good thing is, too, nothing worse when you see trainers, someone with a hamstring injury, and there's no trainers anywhere near them. They go, no, just jog off. It's like, you're kidding, I can't walk. So he's getting some help off the ground. The umpire looks like he is definitely going to wait.
That's fair. It's late in the quarter. It's a key player. So that's good umpiring because it's recognising the game situation without being influenced by the score, if that makes sense.
And even Dawson just giving his best wishes. Now, back to the action. Stackelberg lining up for goal number 4. Comes in now, right foot kick. That's better from Stackelberg. Redland-Victoria 1 point went bang in the space of a minute with 2 goals. Stackelberg just hit back with one of his own. Giving plenty to Rolls as well, running back into the middle of the ground.
It's a nice settler for them, and at the next ball up, assuming we get one, I will have a look to see how RVP reorganised their defence. In fact, they're having a bit of a powwow in their own goal square now, just to work out who goes where, because, let's face it, I mean, okay, Stackelberg's second goal for the quarter, but Curry has, to the extent, I mean, they're playing zonal, but Curry has probably taken most responsibility for Stackelberg in this quarter. With him gone, does that let Connor cut loose?
Well, all of a sudden, does William go back and play on him? It looks like Williams is lining up on him now. And again, it just makes Williams even more accountable, probably the most dangerous forward on the ground in Stackelberg. As again, Aspley come off half back. That was Brown again. He's had a great afternoon, Brown. Batchelor having one of his usual days. Guess who ends up with it?
And he got separation from Williams very, very early on. I was watching him through the binoculars, and he set that mark up from about 6 seconds ago.
It's okay for Williams to be that last man, but he's got to be more accountable than that. And again, Williams doesn't get hand on ball. Gets pushed over the line for a rush behind. That's three-quarter time here. Aspley flexing their muscle in that third quarter. Aspley 12-12-84 to Redland. Victoria point 8-7-55. 29 points the margin. Well, sets up a pretty interesting last quarter. Who could arguably win? Minor premiership here could be decided this afternoon. We'll be back for fourth quarter QAFL action in a few moments.
That's me. It's just doing just gets exactly. And then he falls. Oh, that just covered up all the other stuff. How are you, Danny?
Yeah, mate.
I'm not too bad.
Yeah, too funny. I was listening to you and old mate's dulcet tones on my way in from Springwood.
We're doing okay?
As usual, magnificent.
Can I get that right?
Right?
Mate, the young bloke's doing okay this
Did Nick John Dodge end up kicking the goal for you or not?
Yeah, in the end he did.
We called him 17 times.
Yeah, I know.
Did he end up
He
kicking
had 17 shots on goal apparently, but he only kicked one.
Well, that's good.
Damien Steve.
Why did that son go to Nick?
Oh, what happened? No, that's one person who happened and was sharing a joke. So.
Who did say that?
What is, and the scoreboard's now been corrected, so that's all sweet. Find a way, because you mentioned how we read time just before us having 6 games. Exactly. And that reference really reference and that way.
Well, that's
Yeah, so, because you're the storyteller, you're the one on the microphone. You get to decide what's important and what's not.
no. Unfortunately, I've seen that people play through that million times.
That's the problem. Well, that's a mobile phone image. But,
It doesn't talk to the now we go, oh, I saw this. Yeah, I was calling it. I saw it as well. It's when half the people will say, I clicked over and I was doing one call. Oh, were you calling it? Yeah. I'm the idiot going.
at the end of the game, there's no point in it. But at the end of the game, but no, I love it. Your energy's fantastic. Keeping up with the play, you've got little bits and pieces. Yeah, the player idea is not the side of the ground. That's why I use this, because when it gets nice, as they like to do, it's
And welcome back to round 20 QAFL action here this afternoon from Graham Road, the home of the Aspley Hornets. And they will and truly flex their muscle in that third quarter, increasing their lead 12-13, 85. Redland, 8-7-55. My name's Kane Browning. Still with me in the coach's box, hanging on for dear life, is Daniel Viles. Welcome back, Daniel. What did you think of that third quarter?
Well, I mean, Aspley absolutely dominated for the first 20 minutes. Redland-Victoria Point found a way through late, but essentially that forward pressure, and particularly the wide players acting as defenders as soon as possession was lost, that's pretty much how you lock it inside 50. It can't just happen in the centre. The players who traditionally are there for flash, they were the ones putting in the big effort, making sure it came back inside. So full credit to that entire Aspley A half forward line and B what you might describe as your attacking midfield line.
Well, you got Walbers, you got Huddy back in that ruck contest. When I'm looking down in that forward line for the Sharks, or is it, sorry, the back line for the Sharks, Yagmore's been pushed to the last line of defence William is still standing at centre forward. He's got to step up in this last quarter if they have any chance to close that 5-goal margin. Need to get the first one on the board in the last quarter. Huddy versus Walbers. Ball goes up. Walbers gets up. Huddy gets his hands on the footy though. Gets pushed towards Batchelor. Batchelor overruns a footy. That's a high tackle though. Free kick to the Hornets.
Good effort from Hunkin. Full time up at down at Surfers Paradise, Bruce Small Park. Surfers Paradise 9-18-72 defeated Noosa 7-9-51.
Oh, well, pretty close margin there. Ends up in the hands of Stackelberg. Probably 48, 49 metres out.
And the wind is gone.
And the wind is completely gone, ladies and gents. Probably until he goes to drop the ball in his boot, and then we'll start blowing a gale and push the ball off his boot.
Actually, here it comes, just picked up.
Oh, timing is impeccable. Stackelberg. Bit close to the man on the mark, launches the kick. Is that going to come back enough? Hits the post. That's probably the 5th or 6th poster we've had this afternoon between the two sides.
At Ditmer Park, Maroochydore 13-7-85 leading Mount Gravatt 8-4-52.
Ooh.
At Hickey Park, Wilston Grange well in control 12-6-78 lead Labrador 4-9-33.
Well, after knocking off the ladder leaders last week, Labrador, they've sort of fallen off the cliff a little bit this week by the looks of it. Huddy, tackle almost laid on him, got ball to boot. Really to no one though. Got to make an effort here. This is Yagmore. Yagmore couldn't get there in the end. Kick down the line. Ball on fist. Over the boundary line.
Tyler Housefeld looking very frustrated at full forward. Just to complete the set, Broadbeach in control over Morningside. 11-3-69, 5-7-37 for Morningside. Palm Beach, Currumbin, they're home against Sherwood. 15-9-99 plays 7-9-51 at Salk Oval.
Well, Sherwood's had a pretty crazy year. Batchelor got caught with a footy. That's holding the ball at half forward. Batchelor slow to get up as well. Might have got his leg got caught under the contest there. Hopefully not too much damage is paid. Could just be cramp.
It looks more like cramp. I know that face. Yep.
Well, that leg isn't moving an inch.
Yeah, no, that needs deep heat and plenty of it.
Don't get him in the ice bath. It will see he's completely up. He won't be able to walk for a month. As the umpire's called time off here.
Is this med-splaining where we tell the medical people what to do for the commentary box?
Well, coming from a bloke who's had 3 knee reconstructions and probably was able to have enough strapping on his leg to probably get shares in the strapping company. I know a little bit about injuries, unfortunately.
That explains why you have 3 knees as well.
Yeah, well, that's a little bit harsh, but okay.
I withdraw, Your Honour.
I'll go with that, Daniel. That's fine. William. Good interjection. That works. Here's a chance for the Sharks, but again, Harker on the last line. That wasn't Harker. That actually was. That's O'Dwyer. And again, that half-forward line for the Hornets has just been brilliant this afternoon. Just being able to cut off space, cut off the contest, and cut off possessions. They're not necessarily intercepting marks, but they're being able to push the ball over the line so they can set up behind the ball once more. Speaking of intercept, here comes Toy. Toy looking for Freeman. Couldn't get there. Stackelberg gets there. Taps the ball to himself almost. Here's a chance for the Sharks. Pushing the ball down the line. All the numbers with the Hornets. Ball hits the deck. William is there. Locking the ball up. That's better.
Benson in defence again. I think was he playing forward earlier in the match?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, and doing the work at right halfback on the right back pocket on that occasion. He's earning his money today.
Huddy wins the contest on that occasion. Ball hits the deck. Players run in. Umpire gave him a little bit more time trying to get that ball out. Decides to come in for another stoppage.
Look,
geez, you could almost. I was going to say, if you didn't pick up on that, I definitely did. That's home the ball, says the umpire. Dove on the footy. Sharks free kick. Doesn't want to give up the footy though. Well, decides to play on. Kick towards William, look out, almost going the way of each other. Williams looks like he's moved a full forward. Williams, kick towards goal, one-on-one, who can take it? Oh, drops the mark, he probably should have taken. Here's a chance now, ducks back inside, gets pushed over the boundary line though. Left forward pocket for the Sharks.
Had a frustrating day, Housefeld. He's broken through a couple of times. He's scored, but just hasn't had the space he wants.
Geez, all of a sudden I saw Williams taking a mark at centre half. I'm going, hang on, what's going on here?
Throw your big men forward, see what happens.
That's it. Wolbers again. Took a great mark earlier towards Aston. Oh, bang! What a contest there. But unfortunately, Aston has not moved.
Yeah, Leighton Brown it was coming over the top. It was a legitimate marking attempt. Yes, he got the hip in the wrong place, but...
Aston on his feet now. Sorry to cut you off, Daniel. Both men going full throttle at the footy and at each other. Great contest. Game still up for grabs here. Tackle gets laid. Sharks trying to get the ball on boot. Ends up in the hands of the Hornets. No one at home for the Hornets, though. Here's a chance for the Sharks. Kick to half forward and ends up in the hands. That's Brock Aston out there.
It is, and the pass came from Scott Miller, who was very calm under pressure because his midriff got cut in half as soon as he kicked the ball.
Geez, Brock Aston just about got ripped in half like a phone book on the boundary line. A massive contest between those two.
Who's ripping phone books in half?
Sorry, it's the first thing that popped in my head. It sounded good at the time. Aston now.
Beautiful.
Look at that. Unfortunately, though, off the mark, pushed to the right.
I still say it was beautiful.
Minor score?
Yeah, it's just one of those. It's not going to happen for RVP today, but for goodness sake, play with some pride, and if they're going to meet again in a few weeks' time, give them something to think about in the meantime. Just put a little bit of fear into them, not with muscle, but good footy.
Well, still 30 points the margin. Here's a chance for the Hornets. Looking for teammates. Didn't have anyone in board to go to. Looked for Dodge, got intercepted. Look at Dodge and Murdoch. Just really not liking each other at all this afternoon. Murdoch has been a ball winner for the Sharks this year, but hasn't had a lot of influence this afternoon. Huddy gives away the free kick in the ruck contest.
Yeah,
so the
pretty clear hands in the back, but yeah.
Free kick will go to Wolbers. Not a lot of space up forward, so he's going to go long. Wolbers towards... Who's that down there? That was Freeman again. Freeman couldn't get hands on the footy. Ball gets punched over the line for another boundary throw-in.
But the punch from the back was good. It may have been Benson. Happy to concede I've misidentified. As over the back, you might be able to see the Cooperoo women's side preparing for their elimination final coming up after this.
Plenty of footy still to be played this afternoon. Here's a chance for the Hornets. William lays a good tackle. Free kick. And again, the push and shove in the middle of the ground.
So I think William and Williams have more or less swapped between the key positions.
It does look to be the case. Here come Rolls. Takes a bounce. Toys after him. Kicks to no one in the end. Williams was screaming for the footy. Didn't get to him.
And Annabelle was to the right. He split the difference, which doesn't mean you get 2 marks. It means you get none.
You're definitely right. He kicked to the middle ground, and the only person who could run onto the footy was an Aspley player.
Might have been Nellis back there.
I believe it was Nellis. Who we got there? We got Brown. He's had a pretty solid game this afternoon.
I'll talk up Michael Best as well, number 19. He made a good run down the near side before, and he's one of those players who's done a lot of good things today, and we've realised who he is after he's disposed of the ball. So I'll give a bit of late credit to him. Beautiful mark at left half forward.
That's Pepin. Took it on the second grab. We'll be looking for your 3-2-1 a little bit later, Daniel. Pepin kicks towards goal. Look at that! No love lost on the goal line there between Yagmore and Stackelberg. Yagmore gave Stackelberg a bit of a shove right on the goal line. And Stackelberg going back to the umpire going, what was going on there? That was uncalled for. Umpire said, don't worry about it, guys. Get back to it. Great finish by Pepin, probably right on 50.
No, I mean, they've been clearly second best today, RVP, but for what it's worth, that's the third quarter of the 4 where they've kicked the first goal. First, second and fourth, they were the first goal scorers. So they've got, I mean, I was about to say, they've got a foundation to build on. They're second on the table. I think the foundation's pretty well built on by now. But, and obviously with people like Hamilman to come back, possibly Caleb Franks as well, we hope. Curry's out for the day, so they're undermanned now for the rest of the match.
We did talk about that stat pre-game about their inability to score when they've lost games, both sides. Unfortunately, like you said, Daniel, the likes of Hamilman out makes it extremely difficult to have a forward target for the Sharks. So they're going to love it when he's back in the side. Brock Aston hasn't had the best of days. Again, been blanketed pretty well by Harker. Ball drifting towards half forward for the Hornets. Ends up in the hands of a teammate there. No clearance on that occasion. That could have been a throw. No free kick paid. Rolls, handballs it out towards Aston. Aston nowhere to go. Kick inboard. Play on, says the umpire. Gets the hack kick towards the wing. They got the extra number here, the Sharks, but the ball had different ideas. Dives on the footy. Umpire thinking. No free kick. Aspley intercept. Hack kick towards half forward. That will be out on the full. And back in the hands of the Sharks half back line.
There's some tired players out there. Now, I'm not saying they're not putting in. They are absolutely putting in. But I mean, Aspley made the move in the third quarter. I'd be very surprised they didn't hang on. The same effort as the third quarter. It's just there's less in the tank now. That's all.
Well, I'd say if Hamilman was in the side, they do have a knack of scoring quickly, Redland. But the fact that Hamilman's not on the side, there's just not that target up forward that you'd like. Unfortunately for the Sharks this afternoon.
That can work psychologically in your favour, though, because when they're looking back at this match, they can always say, oh, well, you know, we lost, but we didn't have Hamilman. And sometimes it helps you get over a loss like this a bit more quickly.
Well, sometimes that can be a detriment as well. Because you think, well, if Hamilman comes in, he can kick 5 or 6 and help us out and whatever. But you've still got to work together well as a team, and if that's going to be the vocal point all the time, how easy is that for the defence to read? As play continues here, Graham Road played just over almost 12 and a half minutes in this final quarter. Bat goes towards Watson, ends up in the hands of Pepin. Good tackle laid there.
It wasn't high, no, over the shoulder.
That's Brock Aston. No, that is holding the ball.
My mistake. Shut up, Daniel.
Again, Aston seems to be leaning more towards going down across half-back, trying to help his team out. Trying to get into the game. Again, I keep saying that he's been well blanketed this afternoon. And, of course, Brock Aston takes possession across half-back, and Harker's the spare man when the ball hits the ground on that kick down the line.
Probably still got about a quarter of an hour to go, and there's just a lot of kicking to contests at the moment. So the energy has gone a bit out of the game where the players, whether they're setting themselves up for a final burst, I'm not sure. But right now, the switches, the running into space isn't really happening from either side. It's just, can we work through the congestion, get to the other side of the traffic jam somehow?
Well, realistically, it all came in that third quarter where Aspley got on top. There's practically 6 goals up at the moment, and realistically, that was pretty much what they did to him in the third quarter. They kicked 5 unanswered goals and really got on top. So they haven't been completely out of the game. Probably looks worse than it actually is this afternoon. 13-14-92 Aspley, Redland-Victoria point, 8-8-56, 14 minutes played in the last quarter. Ball's going to get thrown back in here. Just forward of the wing on that far side. To where we are. Batchelor couldn't get hands on the footy. Here's Harker now. Looks like he might have got off the chain a little bit. Little play screaming inside 50. Kick into space. That's a shocking kick. Huddy.
What's a tired kick?
Well, Well, it could be a tied kick, but Huddy's almost the second biggest bloke on the ground, and if he can make the contest, no Aspley Hornets players anywhere near him. That's saying something.
You're determined to burn this kick. I'm just going to get out of your way and let you.
Well, if the ball almost goes 90 degrees, it's a little, can't be too critical, but that's, give the benefit of the doubt on that one, I think.
Yeah.
Pepin, a little bit high on that occasion.
Yeah, what you might call a fortunate slip. Not really an error from Pepin.
Oh, dangerous kick. Speaking of shocking kicks, Watson brought the ball to ground, dodges hovering. Watson lays the tackle. Good second effort there. Ball rolls over the boundary line. Dodge. No love lost down that end of the ground. Just having a little bit of a word to his direct opponent. Guess what, mate? Have a look at the scoreboard. We're arguably 6 goals up. 15.5 minutes played. No one really went up for the ruck at all. Here come the Sharks trying to come out of trouble. Back inside. Look at the numbers set up here from the Hornets, though. They're just as soon as the ball hits the deck, they're just closing in on space, closing it down, pushing them towards the boundary line. Rolls had nowhere to go on that occasion. Got tackled well. Another stoppage. Ball goes up. There's Toy, one of the better players for the Hornets. Got dumped in the tackle. Umpire decides to give the free kick to Toy.
Yeah, it was out of zone who called that. Frank Rayner here, who he's impressed me so far throughout 2023 in both men's and women's comp, but it was Rowan Smith in the out of zone who decided, no, that was, from my angle, that's worth a free kick.
Since I've been calling QAFL footy, Toy is probably the best in the competition to be front man in the contest. He's always in front of his opponent. He never gets caught behind.
He's probably only about, 5'10", 5'11", maybe in the 180 centimetre range. He's not a giant, and yet he's worked that out.
No, again, he's almost that Paul Kelly stereotype. Always hard at the contest. Harker, right on his range here. Probably be kicking 52, 53 out. Right foot kick. Left to right, going to the line. Got the distance, not the accuracy. Minor score. Again,
you wouldn't begrudge Harker a goal today with the effort he's put in.
No.
Mainly at the back. But
I'd always argue he's, I don't think, not necessarily best on ground, but he's definitely top 3, I'd say. Just with the effort he's put on trying to blanket Brock Aston. You could probably count the possessions from Brock Aston on one hand this afternoon. Harker hasn't had a lot of footy himself, but done a really good tagging job. Speaking of Brock, there he is.
But you're right, there's been a lot of play that's ignored the stats. They said, no, I'm going to do what my team needs, and I don't care whether the stat sheet makes me look good or not.
Goes backwards. That's Yagmore. Yagmore hasn't had the influence that he's probably wanted this afternoon.
They've switched the play, and Aspley's got there before RVP have.
Well, William gets sort of pushed under the footy. Ball hits the deck. All the numbers with the Hornets. Handballs it out. Kick inside 50, one-on-one. Ends up in the hands of Watson. Oh, hits the putt. If I had $1 for every time we said hit the post this afternoon,
I think it's $6.
I'd probably have $6 or $7.
Yeah. Oh, there's a pie.
Not at the Gabba.
No, here you get a pie and change.
Ball hits the deck once more. Here's Craven. He's again been one of the best for the Hornets this afternoon. Watson's there once more. Decided to let it bounce. Bounced right in the hands of Hunkin. Hunkin goes out wide. 2-on-1. Crawley's there. Good effort by the Sharks player on that occasion. Back in board. This is a little bit better to Matthews. Matthews to William. William right on 50. Kick in board. That's better from the Sharks. Ends up in the hands of Joshua Brown. He'll be lined up for goal number 3 this afternoon.
Was thinking before, without Hamilman, can you put someone else into that forward target role? And I think the most obvious candidate of the players on the field is Ruben William, but then of course you lose his agility on the flanks if you bring him in the middle. Maybe that's a sacrifice you have to make if you don't have Big Connor.
Well, Brown's done a pretty good job this afternoon. If he can...
Sorry, Big Matt.
Snag this one here. Right foot kick.
Beautiful.
That's a good finish. Get around him, boys. He's done pretty well this afternoon. Goal number 3. He's well and truly stood up where they've been lacking down forward. Unfortunately, Brown isn't 3 foot taller.
Not many people are 3 foot taller than Brown, but...
Well, we were talking about Toy earlier. I mean, geez.
But you're right, but what they've done now, and I've made a complete hash of it before, of course, Aspley scored first in this quarter, so it's been split.
Just blew your argument straight out of the water.
Oh, well, that's just what we in the business refer to as a bit of a cock up. But it was a big rooster up.
Okay.
But what RVP are doing, because it's more likely than not that they'll face Aspley again this season. If they can get a roll on at the end, it's not going to be the pushes and shoves that get into the head of Aspley. It's going to be late goals. It's going to put the doubt in their mind that they can truly finish off a game when they're at full strength and the Sharks are not.
Walbers, again, got the clearance. Ends up in the hands of Toy. Toy looking for Stackelberg. Couldn't get there. It still ends up in the hands of Stackelberg. Back to Toy. Kick over the top to Watson. Good play. Great play by those 3 gentlemen.
And, of course, Watson, with the easy miss before, which ended up really resulting in a play at the other end, not just a chance to make amends, but you can bet that he'll be concentrating extra hard now. Again, the wind, it's not absent, but it is very gentle.
As the lights slowly come on here at Graham Road, Watson, right foot kick. That's another goal to the Aspley Hornets. They've hit triple figures. 14-16. 100 to 9-8-62. 30 scoring shots to 17. And a lot of those add up to that third quarter, like we've said a couple of times already in this last one. Geez, set up. That premiership quarter was where this game has been won. And unfortunately for the Sharks, they were found a little bit lacking in that premiership quarter.
22nd goal of the year for Watson, for the ex-Gungahlin in the ACT competition. Doesn't sound like a lot for a centre-half forward, and in one sense it's not, but in some ways his job is to make sure that Stackelberg gets room to be Stackelberg, and you can't argue that he hasn't done his job throughout 2023 in that regard.
Well, you'd argue when he didn't play a lot last year either, but when he came in sort of the back end of the season, really set up that finals campaign, and he was one of the Hornets' best on grand final day. I believe he kicked 3 or 4 on that occasion. Here's a chance for the Hornets once more. Last line defence. Taken there. Number 35. That's Hambleton.
Hambleton's another one that we haven't always called when he's, just with the pace of the game. He's done some good things and we haven't always called them, but he can hold his head high today.
Sharks, again, tail of the tape, trying to come out of trouble, turning the ball over. Hornets, one-on-one, good grab. Too easy on that occasion. Freeman once more. Well, there'd be a number of players for the Hornets this afternoon. You could put in that 3-2-1. I don't envy your job at all, Daniel.
Black and Hambleton really didn't have any communication there. Black was screaming back. That meant that Hambleton couldn't attack Freeman in the contest. So, Freeman was left to take the mark a little bit easier than they would have liked. Freeman,
right foot kick. Look at that for a set shot. Straight over the goal umpire's hat. They increase the lead. 15-16, 106 to 9-8-62. We've played just on 23 and a half minutes into this last quarter. And I tell you, if you look forward of centre in that forward line setup at the moment, when you think the likes of Freeman, Watson and Stackelberg as the talls, and then, you can throw Batchelor down there, you can Dodgers down there, you can throw Toy down there, Pepin down there, Harker can bowl up there. The danger signs forward of centre for opposition going up against Aspley the back end of this year. It's going to be a tough job. As again, Walbers gets the tap out. That's a high tackle though. Free kick will go to the Sharks.
I don't know which game is on the live stream next week and you'll be commentating, but Aspley here against Surfers Paradise.
Well, it might be that game next week. Again, another massive contest.
Suffice that, that may arguably be a better test of Aspley's resilience than this game, simply because A, surfers will probably be at full strength, and B, you can argue they've got the momentum in the competition at the moment. Certainly you and Hannah Davies will be joining me for the women's coverage shortly, if both identified that.
No, you're definitely right about that. They're definitely that smoky in the competition of late. They've just done what they've had to do, Service Paradise, so that sets up an interesting last round proposition for the Hornets. They've been too good this afternoon, though. 15-16, 106 to 9-8-62. And realistically, the way the game's been played, you really don't want a blowout at the back end of this quarter because this match doesn't necessarily deserve that. Ball gets locked down once more. Plenty of numbers around this contest, though, the back end of this game. Ends up in the hands of the Sharks. Hack kick forward. Dawson once more clears for the Hornets. Ball ends up in the hands of a teammate. Extra numbers with the Sharks, but again, the outnumbered win the contest. Here come the Hornets. Kick inside 50. That's better from the Sharks. That was Yagmore.
Yagmore just did enough. It tacked pretty well.
Bang! What a tackle. Unfortunately, we've got another Sharks player down.
Yeah, Harrison Hunkins just looking a little bit sore and sorry, just outside the 50. It's, well, pretty much centrally.
Geez, that's one way to crucify the kidneys. He's definitely holding that sort of, I'm not sure, lower back, hip. He's definitely hurting.
Yeah, we'll be here a while, I suspect.
He's not good at all.
Goals? Sorry, you go.
Sorry, I was just going to mention he's had an okay game this afternoon as well. Considering what the scoreboard says, he's been one of those players for the Sharks that have definitely stepped up.
He's certainly done well with the ball in hand, pushing forward, made a few good tackles. But as a defender, you think of the number of times RVP's defence has been caught out of position, and I guess he's been part of that. So,
that really hurts because he cannot move, Hunkin, and no one, you know, he's pushing trainers away. But sometimes you got to bite the ball and go, you know what? I'm no service to my team in this state. As again. Ball ends up in the hands of the Hornets. Step, weave, pardon the pun, dodge. Ball hits the deck though. Couldn't get clear. Aston dives on the ball. Rolls as well, laying that tackle.
O'Dwyer had a moment of prettiness there, twisting and turning out of those tackles. He's done some very substantial things throughout today as well. And they're just every now and then just a little bit of a hothead moment. So I hope he can get that under control.
Ends up in the hands of the Sharks. Got to be clean here. Not clean on that occasion. Look at Pepin go. Pepin step weave. Ends up in the hands of Harker. Harker handballs it out to Dodge. Dodge to the hot spot. Looking for Watson. Ball hits the deck. Stackelberg's got to be clean. Snap on goal. Umpire's coming back. That's another goal to Stackelberg. Well done to the Hornets. The lead increases. 16-16, 112 to 9-8-62. Arguably, I'm just trying to work it out. Is that 60 points?
50.
50 points.
11 minus 6 is 5. Kane.
Sorry, I failed on maths.
I'm here for you.
It was the 2 days of maths I was trying to do to get that stat earlier. That it sort of messed me up for the rest of the week.
But no, Aspley, I mean, we talked before about RVP maybe trying to inflict some psychological pressure on Aspley for the next game. Aspley haven't taken their foot off the throat. They've just decided that, no, we are in control of this game. We're going to make it count. And, well, you'll do this at full time when the siren goes, but we are looking at the minor premiers for 2023.
Here come the Hornets. Walbers. Huddy couldn't get to the contest. Ball gets locked up. And arguably, just looking again, number 12 for the Hornets, I'd almost give him best on ground this afternoon.
I don't steal my thunder.
I'm trying not to. That's just my opinion, don't get me wrong.
Why do I bother?
As play continues, I think I burst the bubble of Daniel Viles. Here's Aston. Campbell on that occasion. Williams pushes his opponent under the footy, probably illegally, but that's okay. Williams, snap on goal.
Out in the full.
Out on the full. He's to me, he's looked like the most frustrated player in QAFL history this afternoon. Nothing has gone right for the big fella, and you know there's a little bit of an issue for a tall target up forward when you've got your arguably one of the best fullbacks in the league playing at full forward.
Well, what RVP need to do before their next games is work out, okay, if Williams gets taken out of it, we've got two options. One is to give him protection so he can do what he normally does. The other is just to accept that he's going to be taken out and work out what to do around him, because if attention's being paid to him, logically it must mean there are gaps somewhere else.
Rolls, and again, Williams, too big, too strong.
Leighton Brown's got cramp.
Well, he literally pushed off Leighton Brown, and he also pushed off Liam Dawson in that contest, and they both went to the ground.
I'm not sure he pushed Brown, or whether Brown just cramped and fell over. It looked pretty involuntary to me.
Well, Williams was definitely pushing someone. Kick on goal, pushes across the face. That's a bit better result than the last kick he had.
He looked frustrated as he kicked it. I mean, he just walked away. He's disgusted. He's got to throw things in the dressing room after full time.
Well, at every break, he's looked so frustrated with the way his team has played. But the opposition, you can't take anything away from the opposition. They've been brilliant this afternoon, the Aspley Hornets. Ball rolls over for another boundary throw-in. We've played just over 31 minutes in this last quarter.
As Aspley 4 squared 112 lead Redland 3 squared 63. Go! Sorry, just impressed myself.
And of all things to be said at the back end of the game, I heard that. As ball drifts towards Toy, the man of the moment. Couldn't be clean on that occasion. Again, rolls, bit of a lazy handball towards Campbell Aston. Campbell Aston to Brock Aston. Back to Brock Aston. Handball's back in board. If I keep saying Aston, I'm going to get a headache. Guess what? Brock's ended up with the footy once more, trying to be lazy and kick the ball back inside. Got intercepted by Stackelberg. That's just lazy footy. They kept getting pushed further and further and further back. Aston, he's tried so hard this afternoon, but in the end, not the best of decisions. As the final siren goes, Stackelberg, last kick of the game, is a major. Well, final scores here at Graham Road. Aspley 17-16, 118. Defeated the Redland-Victoria Point Sharks 9-9-63. And Daniel, who's your 3-2-1?
Would you like the goal scorers first?
Goal scorers first,
Okay.
then 3-2-1.
6 to Stackelberg. He's kicked 7 4 times this year, but 6 today. 3 to John O'Freeman, 2 to William Pepin, 1 each to Tom Templeton, Macaulay Lonigan, Nick Dodge, Reece Toy, Brandon Batchelor and Tom Watson. For Redland-Victoria Point, 3 goals to Josh Brown, 2 to Reuben William, 1 each to Jack Rolls, Damien Stephen and Thomas Matthews and Tyler Hausfeld. For the 1 point today, I actually thought Will Walber's work in the ruck was tremendous. I picked him just ahead of Lockie Rayner for the 1 point, who did some really good things early in the game when the game was there to be won. 2 points, Cohen Harker for his thrust out of defence, and 3 points, yes, Reece Toy. Just any time there was... No, I mean, you're right. Just both as a link person, as someone who could finish a play, as someone who could start a play. He was involved in all kinds of links of the chain today, and he can take the most credit individually for Aspley's win today and securing of the minor premiership.
Well, I wouldn't argue with that 3-2-1. Again, burst the bubble a little bit early. Apologies for that once more. Well, it's all over here from Graham Road. We're about to tune in to the QAFL W finals starting today. But in the end, Aspley, too good for Redland-Victoria Point, 17-16, 118 to Redland-Victoria Point, 9-9-63. My name's Kane Browning. Thank you, Daniel Voss, for your input this afternoon. We'll be back next week. Last round of QAFL for season 2023 before finals. We'll talk to you then.
Final
get the next one going.